Hey yo, what's good? What it do, baby? We're
How's-
back. Straight and Curly podcast, episode 121. I'm here today with my brother, of course. He's curly. I'm straight. Not our sexuality. It's our hairstyle.
Hello.
Hello. I always gotta say, you guys know it's a tradition at this point. So today we have another special guest. He's come all the way from Saga City. He's a famous TikToker in my eyes, and I just like objectively. He has way more followers than I do, so he's TikTok famous. But he's a really dope dude. I love his content, and he's a fucking skydiver, and I'm sure we'll get into that. And he's Arab, but he looks white as fuck, like he's from Barrie and he plays puck. I think that rhymed unintentionally. So anyway, this is the best intro I've ever done. Please give it up for Chris Fahmy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
What's going on, guys? Happy to be here.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know we tried a few times. We got sick. I had to skydive, but it worked out now.
I know, right? Yeah. What an excuse, eh? Like I got sick. This guy's like, yeah, I gotta jump out of a plane. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
We can reschedule.
I wasn't supposed to do that many times, but I failed to jump. I was like, if I don't do it now, I'm gonna have to live with this failed jump for like until I can jump again.
Yeah.
I was like, I just gotta do it.
That's crazy. Like you just started doing skydiving, didn't you?
Like 3.5 or 4 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
I
like
honestly thought you were going to say years after that.
No.
yeah, I know.
like-
That's why I thought,
Surprised me with weeks.
Yeah. 3.5, 4 weeks ago, I done 10 jumps in that time.
bro, 10 jumps in 3 weeks. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's like 2 a week.
I would have done way more, but the weather and the availability and all
It's
this
cold,
kind of
man.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold, but when you're up there and you're falling, you don't really realize how cold it is.
True. You're more just excited that you're floating in space, pretty much.
You cannot believe like the bliss that you feel as you're like
Descending.
plummeting towards the ground.
Wow.
It's amazing.
How fast do you get to Earth?
You know, like it depends because I haven't done super long ones yet because I'm still like getting my license. So the most I've done was a 10-second free fall, and that I think I was
that's
going
insane.
around like 100 miles an hour, 120 miles an hour, something like that. Like I'm not 100% sure at the
Yeah.
speed, but
Wow.
you know when you start doing higher jumps and all that kind of stuff, you do go a lot faster.
Okay,
Holy
so
fuck.
for people who are probably like me, who are just catching on to the fact that you're skydiving, I'm going to start asking questions so that we can all catch up because you obviously have a head start. Apparently, it sounds like Neema. Okay, why skydiving? Start there.
That is a great question. I like adventures. You know, I like doing things that scare me and experiences. So anytime someone, like for example, I was in Florida. I pretty much lived in Florida for a few months back in the summer. And my friend was like, you want to get your scuba diving license? I was like, yeah, perfect. Took a weekend, did my license, 'cause I like trying new things. And then what happened is that one of my friends, Mishal Sana, shout out Mishal.
Afghan?
Yeah, actually. And
yeah.
amazing stock trader. If anyone wants to know about that, trading poppy on Instagram. Anyways,
Hey.
he actually, I saw him do an Instagram story where he was saying he was doing a solo jump. And he had a video of himself landing by himself. And I was like, you could do that? You can just jump out of a plane your first time without someone connected to you?
Wait,
And
what do you
Yeah,
mean?
I didn't know that. I didn't know you could do
Your
that.
first ever jump, you don't have to have someone connected to you. You just do it by yourself.
That's fucking ballsy.
It's insane. So I
I
was
didn't
like,
think that was a thing.
dude, how did you do that? And usually things don't necessarily like scare me. You know, like I've done like a lot of experience stuff like that, but this actually scared me. Like I was like, I'm nervous now. I want to try this, but I'm a bit scared to do it.
Sure.
But that to me was like, now I have to fucking do it.
I know.
Like
yeah,
I can't not do it now that
It'll
I'm
be on your
nervous about
conscience,
it.
I know.
I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm gonna do it. That day I called them, booked a time,
Wow.
and I
Quick
did
times.
it. Yeah.
Damn.
So your first jump was by yourself?
Yeah, I've never actually been connected to somebody.
Bro, I thought
This is,
like
crazy.
I remember I told you this. I was like, I didn't think you could jump on your own at first. It's like
Neither did I.
it should be like a regulated thing, like driving. You can't just
Okay,
drive
so
on your own.
obviously there is some regulation. So why don't you tell us about what it is? Because obviously something has changed from the time that you have to jump with somebody else, I'm assuming, to now you
Well,
don't
so
need
basically,
anybody, right?
you're allowed to jump by yourself, but in the first 4 jumps, there's basically a rope that's connected to the plane and your parachute. As soon as you jump out of the plane, the rope automatically pulls out the parachute, so you can't really mess it up.
Oh,
But you can mess up the landing.
Oh.
But then,
Okay.
so you have that. So you kind of do like a 2-second, 3-second free fall, and then you basically, something catches you and you're good to go. After that, then you start doing the free fall. So you do like 4 jumps where something is kind of connected to you. You practice pulling the chute, you do all that kind of stuff, and then you just jump out. And then hopefully you remember your stuff. I didn't. That's why I told you guys I failed, because
I feel like, hold on a second.
How do you fail?
Hold on, yeah.
A
Using
skydive.
words like fail in
Yeah.
a skydiving
Yeah.
test is making me very interested about what you're talking about.
well, there's so basically you could fail by dying. That's the worst
Yes,
failure,
for sure.
right? But then there's also failure if you don't like do certain things. Like for example, my arch. You have to arch and do a specific arch when you jump out of the plane. I was nervous, man. I jumped out and I forgot to arch. I actually did the opposite of arching.
You went to a
Dive
ball?
down?
Yeah, like instead of going like this, I kind of went like this.
in.
Like I went
Oh.
inwards.
You like hunched in.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that is really bad because what happens? You start doing flips, and you're not supposed to do flips. So
Oh,
I'm
shit.
flipping. I pull the
No.
parachute. I'm literally upside down,
Oh shit.
and this thing like flips me up.
Whoa.
Thankfully, I didn't like. I was fine. I
yeah,
survived.
yeah, obviously, yeah.
But that is a failure.
Holy shit, bro! I
Right?
would have scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
in the air.
So that was bad. I failed that one like 3 times.
Wow, really?
And that's why when I was with you, I was like, man, I have to do this because the
I
weather
know.
was good, and I was meant to come see you guys.
Right.
The weather was good, and I had to do that jump again because I was not gonna fail again.
Yeah, I forgive you.
And
for
then I
that.
passed.
Yeah.
And I passed that day.
That's good. See,
So it worked.
That's all worked
Yeah,
out.
that's
Yeah.
great.
I don't hate you at all for
Thank you, man. I
canceling to
appreciate
get a
it.
good jump.
yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's
Okay.
a crazy.
I have like
fucking thing,
100 more
man.
questions. Okay, next question. How long does it take for you to get back up into the sky after a jump? Is it like a roller coaster? Like I can just go back up again?
You can just, yeah, I mean, as long as there's a plane ready, you just go right back up.
How fast does this whole thing happen? Like you get into a little prop plane, I'm assuming?
Super small plane. There's one
Like
seat
one
for
seat.
one seat for the pilot. Everyone else sitting on the ground.
Fits
Right.
what, 3 people? Something like that? 5 people? Something
You
maybe?
could squeeze 5
Okay.
people that don't weigh too much because the weight matters,
For sure.
right?
And
So
how high
me
do
and
how-
you probably at most in the plane.
Maybe, hopefully
Maybe
a
one.
pilot too, because I am getting
Yeah.
my pilot's license, but I can't do it
This
yet.
guy's fucking
so,
doing everything, eh?
love it.
That's a different story.
Okay.
But yeah, man, you could just go right back up as long as there's people that can fly you up and that there's availability. Because a lot of people are doing tandems,
Oh,
and
right.
I have to have an instructor in the plane that watches me jump out.
Right.
And if the instructor is doing a tandem with somebody, then I have to wait, and that's kind of where the waiting game is. But
Like on the
that's
ground, obviously.
on the ground, yeah.
And
Wow.
how high does the plane go? Like is it like flying?
When you're starting out, you're at 4,000 feet, and then you kind of just gradually go up as you do longer free falls. So my next one, I'm at 6,000 feet doing a 15-second free fall, and then it just progressively goes higher.
Is it? I'm laughing at myself because in my mind I'm like for sure like it. For some reason I have in my mind the altitude is like what it would be like for a Boeing flight somewhere.
No, Boeing is
And I'm like,
high.
and I keep thinking I was like 10 seconds. That doesn't seem like very long. I'm like, those planes are pretty up in the sky. I feel like it would take me a minute to
No,
get down, right?
Well, no,
the
10
Boeings-
seconds of free fall.
I know.
And then the rest is just like
I know,
you're
but when
floating.
he's saying 4,000, 6,000 feet,
Right.
planes fly what, 35,000?
Yeah, 35 feet, exactly. No, you're
You see
you're
what I'm saying?
very high. When
I
you're
had
at
no,
that
I have like
level-
no
No, you can-
reference point.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you
Can't
can
you go
jump,
higher than that?
You can jump out of that. Yeah, I mean, someone jumped out like
The space.
yeah,
literally
you can
Red
jump
Bull.
from pretty
That
high,
was
That's
crazy.
fucking
Okay, we'll get back to
insane.
that.
dude.
So you
insane.
can jump from that height?
You can, but you have to actually have oxygen.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
for sure.
yeah, you have to have oxygen kind of as you're going on the plane, as you're going up. You basically pump yourself of oxygen because there's something I forget the name of it.
it's very low oxygen. It's like hypoxic or whatever the
Yeah,
word is. Yeah.
yeah, that's you got
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
word. So yeah, you have to have a special kind of helmet and all that kind of stuff. But you can jump out
That's
from there.
Do you know the safest height you can get to that you don't need, like up until you need the?
I'm not 100% sure, but what I do know is that in the last Mission Impossible movie, Tom Cruise, he jumped out from. It's called the halo jump, so it's high altitude, low open.
Oh
Like yeah, I
cool
kind of got
acronym.
addicted to skydiving, so I've learned all this stuff.
no, this is great. Yeah.
But yeah, he was jumping out of planes where like it is super high,
Really?
and he was doing multiple jumps every single day because they had to get they had to get it all right.
They actually filmed him jumping out of
He
a
was
plane.
he was jumping
That's
out of the
pretty
plane.
sick.
Yeah,
That
they
was
gave him a
real.
special helmet. Yeah, they gave him a special
Wow.
helmet so you
That's
could
dope.
see his face. Yeah, and dude, that guy is crazy.
This guy does his own stunts, eh?
What a badass.
Crazy.
What?
Yeah, it's not even his craziest stunt. It's crazy.
I
I think
know.
the craziest one is when he's hanging off a plane in I guess another Mission Impossible movie.
That was real too.
He was
No,
hanging
there's
off
no
the
way
plane.
that was
Bro,
real.
he was hanging off the plane.
What?
Yeah.
How? How could you even be
He was
like?
connected. Like he was like in the movie holding, but really
Right.
he was connected with like some kind of rope, I guess.
To what? The fucking
The bottom of
engine?
the plane or something?
Yeah, I don't know how it was.
Like,
but he was
what?
just hanging on. Yeah.
Wouldn't you like? Wouldn't you just like, rip your face off if you're like going at that speed?
When
that
you're going
way?
when you're going at that speed, if a pebble hit him in the face,
Yeah,
it's like
he's
a
done.
bullet.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
so I'm like, dude,
You're insane.
What,
you're
he's a
crazy,
badass.
but-
Yeah.
Bro, a
It's
bird,
crazy, bro.
bird will go straight through his chest.
Yeah, but a bird is not as likely. I feel like a pebble is more likely.
Well, of course.
Yeah, I
anything,
agree.
really.
Yeah.
Like debris, something. I don't know.
yeah,
That's insane. Wow, I didn't know that. This guy's fucking ballsy, bro.
Insane, bro. Yeah, that guy's crazy.
I mean, yeah.
How is it like jumping out like that moment? I feel like it's pure bliss. It's probably the best
Okay,
feeling
so
on earth.
let me
Better
tell you
than
this. Bro.
orgasm.
Let me tell you this. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I first did it, I was like the Pope praying in that plane, just literally praying that I pull the chutes.
For sure.
Okay, because I'm like I'm nervous, man. I did a few jumps like with the thing pulling it by yourself, and then you get to the point where you have to pull out your own thing. If you don't pull it, you die. Like
Straight up.
yeah, I mean
that's it.
there's like a backup plan, but that backup plan fails, and you basically have to pull. And so I'm like just praying that I remember to pull and I don't lose my mind and all that kind of stuff. I end
Like-
up flipping, and my first like 3-4 jumps were not that good because I kept flipping and I kept
Yeah.
not arching. Okay, but when I finally figured it out, that is bliss. You jump out of the plane, you kind of go in your arch position. It takes a bit of time to kind of like settle in, but then when you're looking down, you're seeing the earth like speeding at you.
Whoa.
That's trippy.
There's no better feeling that I've felt.
Wow, man.
Like it is the best. I'm telling
Damn,
you,
bro.
guys.
I gotta do this.
You guys absolutely have to do it. It's just such a great challenge too. Doing it by yourself. It's scary, but once you land, you're like, hell yeah, I did that.
For sure. I can't imagine it not being that greatest moment.
It's crazy, man.
I gotta
I'm
get
telling
someone
you.
to film
It's like
it, too.
super satiating for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Satisfying. What a
It
moment.
was
yeah.
it was the best, bro.
I
It was the
bet.
best. Even honestly, when you have the parachute and you're flying it around, that's fun
It's
too.
fun,
Like
yeah.
everything is fun.
It's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You're just like,
Yeah,
Oh
it's a
yeah,
roller
that's true.
coaster.
How long is the whole like ride, including the parachute part?
You know, I'm not 100% sure. I never actually timed it. I think the parachute part may be like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. It depends.
Okay, so it's not like the
But,
whole
like-
thing isn't just like a minute.
No, no, like you're in the parachute. You could do like 360s and you could do like some cool stuff. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
fun, man. It's just a great experience.
Why do you have to
legit.
pull it so soon? Why can't you free fall for 30 seconds? I don't know.
If it doesn't slow you down enough,
Yeah,
then
it would take-
you're gonna have a problem.
Really?
And the thing
Shit.
is, honestly, one of the biggest reasons why is because if you pull the chute, okay, and then you look up and the parachute, there's a problem with it. Like there's a bunch of different problems that could happen. Rare,
Yeah,
but
but
if it
could
happens,
happen.
you have to. There you have a reserve. You have to pull the reserve.
Mm.
And if you are too low, you don't have time to pull the reserve.
Right. That makes sense.
So you know people do cliff jumping. They don't have a reserve because they don't have time. If their thing is done,
You're done. Yeah.
they're finished.
Right.
There's no second
Holy
chance.
shit.
Yeah, I'd rather not do that.
Right. But with us at around 4,000 feet, we'll pull like the main one, just because if that doesnit work, we have time to pull the reserve and then not die.
How long would it take you to plummet to your death, essentially, like if none of those works?
Well, it depends on how high you're jumping from, but if you're jumping from like 4,500 feet, maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on the
I,
time.
I just like fuck my
Yeah,
brain
yeah.
for a
Balls are
second.
tingling, bro.
Yeah,
Thinking
you're
about that.
gonna be hitting the ground real fast.
Damn,
So,
you're,
and
you're
can't-
instantly
You
dead.
can't drop and roll. Like you're done.
No way.
you're
No
done.
sh-
That's
you're not,
it.
You're not
Drop
fucking
and roll.
Goku.
Yeah,
This guy's not
exactly.
fucking
Damn.
like going and stopping the earth.
I mean, that's
Exactly.
got to be everybody's number one question, concern, thorough question asking when you go to jump. It's like, I mean, they have to be in the guarantee business, right? Like
What do you mean the guarantee?
there can't be a scenario where I don't guarantee you don't live. Like, you know, like there has to.
So there's
think
contracts.
about how
You have
many
to sign a
considerations you have to make, right?
Yeah, I
Sign
mean,
a
we,
waiver
we
for
sign a
sure.
waiver saying if we die or get injured, there's no like they're not held liable, all that kind of stuff. And they tell you, look, you'll never hear anybody say this is perfectly safe. They'll say this is not safe. You're jumping out of a plane
Right.
from very high, and
So they don't sugarcoat
many
it.
things can go wrong.
Mm.
Even when you're doing your shoot, you're going like you're hitting the ground pretty fast, unless you flare at the right time, unless you do like certain things, right? By flare, I mean you pull it down to slow yourself down.
How fast
But
how fast are you coming down, like with the parachute?
It depends, because of the wind and stuff like that. So it's tough to say, but I mean, 10 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, and you're kind of going
That's
at that
pretty
point.
fast,
You're going like
Oh.
horizontal if you time it right.
And you have to
right.
like sort of start running, get a running
Running.
start almost.
Yeah,
to,
you
like,
kind of like slow down, and it's not so hard.
Right.
Like that's not really that hard unless you miss time the flare,
Mm.
or if you don't flare, then you go real fast.
Yeah, you break
Like,
your knees.
Can you break your legs kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
vibe?
yeah, you can.
That's brutal.
Hopefully not.
No, of course
But,
not. No, but I
yeah,
get,
yeah,
I get what you're
possible,
saying.
for
Yeah.
sure.
I
I
mean,
don't want
there's-
to. I'm not trying to focus on the negative.
What?
I'm just like,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
it's just a
exactly.
consideration you have to make.
You have to
What-
you have to realize that you could get very badly injured,
Mm.
but damn, it is so worth it.
Wait, but
So worth it.
how do they know where you're gonna land?
There's a big landing area, and in the beginning when you're starting out, you have radios, and they tell you, okay, 90 degrees to the left.
Oh.
20. Yeah, so they're telling you what to
actually
do.
listen to what they're saying. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But eventually, you start to learn kind of how to do it, and there's a special formation to kind of go against the wind, all that kind of stuff. So once you learn how to do all that stuff, it's not so bad.
Oh, so everyone lands in the same spot pretty much.
In the same spot, typically in the same direction. So if you've seen people landing that day, because you land against the wind, right? Because if the wind's on your back,
Yeah, it's gonna push you farther.
yeah, exactly. So you don't want to go faster. So you want to go into the wind,
True.
right?
That's smart.
So yeah,
Damn.
How many people have died? Any idea?
in
Probably
the skydiving place that I go at, one person,
Right.
and I think it was this year,
Wow.
and it wasn't a malfunction in the equipment. It was human error. And I did not ask any other questions because I don't want to know what the hell that guy did.
for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to know what happened.
Humid air.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, just leave it unknown.
Okay, fine. I
How-
know there's risk, and now I just
Yeah.
have to, just make sure I pull the chute and hope it opens.
And pray
Sure,
to
yeah.
Allah that
Yeah,
I
that's
land.
it, man. I'm just praying to God. I'm praying to God, literally.
So
like,
does this have to do with their skydiving stuff that have to do with TikTok at all?
no, I've been thinking of like putting some TikTok stuff, and I wanted to film my first time going, but I never really got around to it. Like I haven't really done vlogs or anything like that. Most of my TikTok stuff is mostly like stories or things I find interesting. So I never actually got around to doing any skydiving videos. I do want to, but
Yeah,
I'm
it's
waiting
pretty-
kind of to get my license and start skydiving around the world and doing that kind of
So
stuff.
It'll be
what?
a unique thing to document.
So what is on your TikTok? Like, what is it now?
So I do a lot of stories. So anything I find interesting. It could be anything from like a crazy news story to something historical. I'm like the biggest history nerd, right? So anything that I find interesting, I want to talk about. And I kind of have my own way of doing it, my own flair of telling the stories.
The visuals and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've just kind of enjoyed it. It's funny because the reason I got started in this is something completely different. What happened
What?
is back in 2019, I was starting to act in movies and stuff like that. I was really getting into acting, and I had acted in a few independent movies, and I wanted to kind of build that out. And I was like, okay, I think it'd be pretty easy for me to get roles if I have a big social media following. It's like, perfect. I want to build my Instagram. Okay. So how am I going to do that? And then I'm literally super caffeinated, 1 a.m. in the morning in the shower, trying to calm myself down to go to sleep. And then I'm like, all I have to do is go on TikTok. I can have this green screen thing where I have pictures behind me, and I can tell interesting stories. I know a lot of interesting stories. I love like history and all that kind of stuff. It's like perfect. Acting is storytelling. I could do that, post it on Instagram, and then build my Instagram following. Perfect. I'm going to do that. That night, right after my shower, I said the story about Vasily Arkhipov. This guy literally single-handedly stopped World War III. Okay.
Wow.
Crazy freaking story. So I go and I start doing part one. It's a kind of a longer story. So I did part one and part two. I post part one, and then I start working on part two. By the time I'm done part two, there's already thousands of views on part one.
Wow.
And I've gotten like hundreds of followers. I'm like, what is this app?
That's crazy.
This is
What's going
TikTok or
on?
Instagram?
This is TikTok.
TikTok,
Okay.
This is TikTok. So I'm like, this is insane. And then everyone was like going crazy about that story. And this is 1 a.m. in the morning. And I did not sleep until 10:30 a.m. because I put out like 4 or 5 more stories, and I
Damn.
was hooked.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I had like thousands and thousands of followers really, really fast.
Damn.
My first video was viral. Like, it got couple million views. I
Nice.
think, I don't remember, to be honest, exact number, but it's got like over 1 million
Yeah,
views,
yeah.
and then it kind of just blew up from there.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
That
it
feels
was
good.
Oh, dude, it was
Mm.
like a high.
Like, if you didn't get the views and the engagement at the beginning that you did, do you think you'd still continue to do them?
I don't know. That's
Or
a really
you
good
just got
question.
motivated because you saw the numbers?
I think when I saw the numbers, I was like, you know what, this is something I can do, because I've been doing online marketing for a really long time, but I've never done anything social media. But I was like, this is something that, like, the numbers are real good. I never actually thought about it though. If the numbers weren't good, if I would have continued, probably would have done a couple more, and then
Yeah.
probably kind of might have fizzled out. I don't
I
know.
know, maybe.
Yeah.
That happens to a lot of people. They get discouraged easily, and they don't see the numbers pop up. So like, fuck it, no one cares. I'm gonna stop.
Exactly.
But that's
Especially
not
with
the way to
social
do it.
media.
Especially with social media.
Like I've done a lot of things in like my other businesses and stuff like that, which, it took a lot of persistence, and I got there, but that's because I understood all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? With social media, it was kind of like a hit or miss thing for me in the beginning,
Yeah.
and it hit, and I was like, oh,
I
geez.
know. And now you're at fucking 3 million followers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
Damn.
it
Crazy,
just
bro.
kind of blew up from there.
Wow.
What are your other
That's unreal.
businesses?
So I have an online marketing company. I do a lot of Facebook ads with a bunch of Shopify stores, my own Shopify stores, and I work with insurance companies and a bunch of other companies to get them, to do e-commerce sales, affiliate work, lead generation. Essentially, I find, for example, auto insurance leads for auto insurance companies, stuff like that. And then I also have a real estate company in the States.
Damn, boy.
Yeah. So
This
that's
guy's
what I've
all
been,
over.
that's what I've been focusing on a lot of my time. TikTok has just been a really fun thing that I've been doing. Social media in general is great. And it's also led me some great opportunities, meeting you guys. I'm looking to hopefully get into a bit of like the public speaking area.
Nice.
So I'm looking to do that in the States next year. So
Okay.
I'm kind of branching out into that right now.
What would you be talking about?
I think mainly business. I love talking about business. I love talking about mindset. I love talking about strategy. I've just been doing it for so long. I mean, I spent so much money on Facebook ads. It's obscene, so I've really gotten to understand how that stuff goes. And I think I can add a lot of value to people when it comes to marketing strategy, specifically online marketing strategy.
I think we need to get Chris on our team.
That's it.
Yeah. What are you guys doing?
Well, I'm obviously a comedian actor. He's my manager and behind the scenes kind of whole brains of the operation kind of thing. And we have a couple team members too.
Nice.
Who help with the branding and graphic design, stuff like that, the videos and stuff like that. But yeah, we just want to kind of expand the business and build the brand as big as possible. And eventually just kind of like tour doing stand up, and I want to do my own movies. And
I have seen your stand up. I have seen that too.
Yeah, thanks.
Man, remember seeing you in that movie? What was that movie again?
It was a show, The Boys.
The Boys. Yeah, I remember seeing you. I was like,
I know this
I-
face.
Yeah,
I know that guy.
Yeah,
And I saw you for a second. I was like, what?
the Syrian terrorist.
Yeah, exactly.
Gets
You fit
blown
the role
up.
perfectly,
I know,
bro. It was
perfectly.
amazing.
I had to
was
learn
like,
Arabic
damn.
for that role, like 7 lines of Arabic. Yeah,
What?
It's my first time. Yeah.
Do you speak Arabic
No,
as well?
not at all.
Oh, so you just BS'd it?
I actually got a dialect coach for a day.
No way.
For 2 days. The Syrian woman, and she taught me how to do the lines in Arabic. And I just I did
Phenomenal.
it, practiced it. And then
But
I did.
you are really good at accents.
Yeah, I mean,
Good
that's my
man.
strong suit, but
Dude,
but
what was that? The Thanksgiving thing?
yeah,
Oh my
the
God,
Halloween
bro.
one.
Was it Halloween or
I
Thanksgiving?
don't know. There's so many.
I think it
things
was
I
the
fucking
Thanksgiving
did.
one. I was just dying of laughter at the entire thing.
Which one's your favorites?
Which accents? The white boy.
The
This
hockey
Travis
guy?
looking
This
guy.
duster. Yeah.
Duster, yeah.
When I was in university, I went to McMaster University.
Oh,
Funny
yeah.
enough, for civil engineering.
Of course.
Wow.
Didn't work a single day as an engineer.
No.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Um,
Disgrace to your Arab family.
Bro, they were not happy at all.
Not haram at all.
Once I started doing Facebook ads, my dad was like, "This is not a career. You'll never make money off this."
Yeah.
3 months later, my dad asked me how to start doing that
Wow.
stuff. Yeah. So it got to that
The
point.
wheels have turned.
Exactly.
I love it.
But yeah, all my roommates back in university, for 1 year, I was living with 7 white boy hockey guys.
It's hilarious.
Dude, like I'm literally seeing them as I'm seeing
know.
you doing this stuff. I love those guys. They were so much fun.
I know they are fun.
A
Yeah.
blast.
Yeah.
But their mannerisms are so on point.
It's so fucked.
It's the best, man. It's the best.
It's just they're so unique to their mannerisms more than anyone else. I feel.
Absolutely.
Did you find him on TikTok or Instagram or something?
I think the first time I saw you was on TikTok. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. I think it was one of the Gary Vee things back in the beginning.
Right at the beginning.
Are you a Gary Vee fan too?
I do like Gary Vee. I do like Gary
I figured
Vee.
you're in business and mindset. He's
Yeah.
in both.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
he's the
Yeah.
goat. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Gary Vee fan
Yeah.
for sure. But I love watching the skits about him.
Those are fun. Yeah. Definitely a favorite on TikTok.
Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
a crowd favorite for
crowd
sure.
favorite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I like
it's
the
a good one.
garage sale stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
good. Dude, I love it.
I have an idea to do an actual garage sale as Gary Vee. Like go to a
Should
garage
do
sale.
that,
Yeah.
bro.
I just need to set it up somewhere and like go somewhere warm too. It's fucking cold here. No one's doing a garage sale.
Oh, garage
I gotta
sales
go to the
here are
States,
not
man. I
happening.
gotta go to like Florida and just do this shit. You know,
Dude, that's
It's
amazing.
kill. Like you can do so much shit down there.
I love the States, man. There's
This is amazing.
Do you go
10
there a
times
lot? Or try
yeah.
to?
So I'm actually I was there I think like 4 months of this year. 4 months since April, I guess. So I was there pretty often. And I actually am looking to move there next year, mainly for like public speaking and stuff like that. So I'm working with a lawyer now to get a visa.
Love it.
Yeah. So I find that the States there's so much opportunity, man. There's 10 times the number of people,
I know.
complete consumer mentality.
Yeah.
You know, so if you run a business there, it is true what they say. It's a land of opportunity, man. You make so much money there. So also certain cities hustle bustle.
I know.
You go to New York, people are literally going nonstop.
Where, is that where you would go?
So my family has a place in Florida, so I'm in Florida pretty often.
That's so lucky,
dude.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I'm going in 2 weeks. I'm going 2 weeks.
I'm coming with you on your back on the skydiving,
dude.
I'm gonna
we'll jump right out of the plane.
You're his tandem.
Pull the
fucking parachute.
I'll be the parachute you can pull. I'll just
exactly. Yeah.
Just grab some shirts, bro. It's fine. We'll knit them together.
Imagine there's a big parachute on the top. You like nuts?
Yeah.
Like fucking advertising the whole shit.
Oh, that would be sick. Actually, we just land in the water.
That's it.
And swim to my place
with the
It's
alligators.
perfect.
Exactly.
And
That's
DJ
perfect.
Khaled out there too.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what I want to do though? I want to spend 6 months in New York. Reason being is because, dude, like Florida, people go there to spend money, not to make money. Okay, you want to go where people are spending money, going out every day, partying all the time, spending all the other time on the beach. You go to Florida. If you want hustle bustle, you want to work, New York is a spot, and that's why I want to spend like 6 months in New York, see how I like it, and kind of decide from there.
Yeah.
You know,
New York's good too, but there's a couple other places too that are like that in a way, like in a different way. But there's like Texas, for instance. I feel like it's a mix of both, where it's like you can go to chill and like party, but also it's like I feel like there's a lot of like good stuff to do, like a lot of opportunities to work and stuff like that, depending on your field, I guess.
Yeah.
But
No,
like,
that's true. I love Texas, man.
Yeah,
Texas is a
dope.
blast.
Yeah.
My first shooting range I ever went to was in Texas.
Oh man, must be fun, eh?
It was a blast, man. Yeah.
Damn.
So Texas is great. I know, like, I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan.
Nice.
So I know he likes
He
Austin
does
a
too.
lot. Yeah?
Love it. Yeah, it's a great
Nice.
show.
It's a-
Amazing, man. Amazing. But yeah, I guess Austin, Texas sounds great. I mean, I like everywhere in Texas. I've been to Dallas. I've been to like the outskirts of Texas. I got to tell you, man, some of the nicest people
sure.
I've ever met.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I can
agree.
co-sign that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
rural Texas. Have you been? Like,
Yeah.
Not a lot, but we passed through a few times with a friend of mine on our way from Houston to Austin.
Mhm.
Stopped at a couple of places, and it was just like, sure, like meet a couple people, gas station, you get a vibe, and it's like being up here. It's like a small community vibe, but it's like rural Texas. I don't know, it's like ranches everywhere, and there's like,
Yeah.
I loved it.
And
yeah, I
dude,
loved it.
everyone is so nice, man. I remember because, like, you know, you watch certain things on the news, you think like, you know, they're all like, I don't know. You hear all this
Just
kind of stuff
hicks
about,
who have
yeah, you
guns
hear all
wanna
this kind of
kill you.
stuff, and like, yeah, they're like racist and all that kind of stuff, and then you go there and you're like, these people are the nicest people. I'm literally driving in my car and I look, and this guy's on a motorcycle, and you look at him and you could see, like, you think, I mean, this white guy, literally tats,
Yeah.
big beard. He looks and turns, biggest smile, biggest
For
wave,
sure.
just like this. And I'm driving, like, why are you waving? Like,
Really?
hey, I'm like, yeah, waving back. Hey,
Yeah.
it's like people are just so nice there, man. You can't
amazing.
judge a book by its cover,
you
I guess.
can't.
And also, I think that, I don't know, man. It's just they get a bad rap, but they're the
Yeah.
nicest people on that I've met.
Yeah, 100%. Same. I was in El Paso, and
I've never been there.
El Paso's fucking sick.
Really?
I've never been to anywhere else. Actually, I was in Dallas for one day, but it doesn't really count.
Uh-huh.
But El Paso, it's like it's actually the most Mexicans outside of Mexico.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, you know, still a lot of like, you know, native Texans in there or whatever. But
Awesome.
man, that place was fucking amazing. Like,
What were you doing
literally,
there?
I was doing some comedy there. Yeah, with another guy. He was
Nice,
he was on
man.
tour, and I was just opening for him.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's just like the whole experience, the vibe, the weather, the food, bro. Like, have you ever had a Mexican buffet? They had a Mexican buffet.
When he
there.
told me this, I was
I
like,
don't think I had that.
I don't think I
before.
have, you know?
Like,
A
I really have to
Mexican
think about it.
buffet,
I've had,
yeah.
we have Chinese, Italian,
Indian.
Mhm.
Indian.
Mm-hmm.
I've even had Middle Eastern, like
Yeah, I guess a little bit.
Mediterranean, maybe, if
Sure.
you will.
Sure.
Yeah,
When
barely.
this guy told me Mexican, I was like, Mexican
Dude.
buffet, like, man,
Thi-
I'll die on
Like-
guacamole.
Yeah.
Dude, think about
Jeez.
think like
That's great,
think,
dude, yeah.
think authentic Mexican food, like their actual fucking like tias cooking in the back of the kitchen,
Yes, yeah.
but like just pumping out pounds of horchata, fucking papusas,
Jeez.
tacos. You know what I'm
Dude,
saying?
that
Like,
sounds.
but it's like
epic.
homemade, but
Do you
it's
like-
like unlimited.
Do you like to eat?
I
Are you-
love to
are
eat,
you an
bro.
eater?
I
Yeah.
love to eat, man. I love trying new food. The weirder the food is, the more I want to try it.
Yeah.
that's how
So,
I am too.
Yeah, 100%. So
Yeah.
that sounds amazing. That
Trust me,
doesn't
bro.
sound weird, but it sounds like just
It's
delicious
new.
and
It's
something
new.
I've
It's
never
like
tried before.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Like
If you go
I'm
to
thinking
El Paso.
Mexican food. Like I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't want to piss off anyone from Mexico, but I've never had Mexican food besides like I don't know,
Taco
maybe
Bell.
Taco Bell,
Yeah.
man. Like I really have not had
Oh,
that kind of
man.
authentic
Interesting.
Mexican food that I could think of.
Chris Fahmy canceled on TikTok for bashing Mexican.
No, I would
Here's
love
news
to.
story
I'd
for
love
you.
to. I just never gotten around to
Trust
it.
me,
No, of
bro.
course,
no,
yeah.
I know.
Jeez.
Man, if
Yeah,
you,
that's crazy.
I mean, like, even in LA.
For like a day, it doesn't count.
Oh, fuck. Okay, so that
So,
makes
yeah,
sense.
LA is another good
LA is
one,
a really
actually.
good place for Mexican food.
Is that right?
Yeah. Well, actually, one thing Vice
Didn't
did,
know.
like, they did an episode maybe like a year ago of like the Taco King of LA, and it's this guy who like just pivoted during like the pandemic, sort of at the very beginnings, and he went from doing like he was working a different job, and he's just like a home cook, right? Goes out into the street, puts out a tent on a parking lot with like a charcoal barbecue, like a handheld one, or the two of them with a table. And he's just cooking tacos, and he literally puts a sign like with the people, like a little A board, you know, those A signs, $5 or whatever. And like 2 years goes by, and I saw it like a few weeks ago, and he's like he won like an award for like the taco
Really?
of the LA's best taco, or like some like, you know,
Wow.
municipal like fun award or something like that. But nonetheless, like he won the thing. And it was like just a great story. But then it
Love
also
that.
illustrates a different cultural thing, which is like you can, to your credit, like in the US, you can just go and put up a tent somewhere in a parking lot, start flapping some things, you know, like some meats, and get them smoking on the grill, put them in a quesadilla or to tortilla or whatever,
Yeah.
and
And you're set.
I mean,
American
Dude,
fucking
I
dream.
know.
dude,
I don't know, right?
it's
Like
the best, just geographically. I mean, you got 10 times the number
Yeah.
of people,
So much.
way more dense than, I mean, Canada's a much bigger country, but it's,
Yeah,
you know, 10 times the number of people, much smaller country.
more-
for sure.
Way
You
more.
can get around.
opportunity.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We could do that same shit with like Middle Eastern food, bro. Start like, you know,
Dude, you could.
Arab food, Persian food. Like, start imagine like you have charcoal thing,
I
and
know.
you're fanning kebabs in the middle of the street. Like you're gonna get fucking hundreds of people.
That would work. That would work.
One kind of like silly idea we have. Let me know what you think about it. We were thinking about grabbing like a food truck or something and like rebranding it as like the Escroll truck. I mean, are you familiar with this whole like Escroll thing that he does?
No.
So
What's
so you can explain it actually, like how Escroll came about, because I don't know.
Yeah. So Persians. I don't know if you know Persians really. Like,
I have some Persian
right.
friends. Mhm.
So the Persian accent, there's many words that like obviously like the fobs can't pronounce properly, right?
Mhm.
Like my mom, for instance, like if she wants to pronounce squirrel, she can't
Right.
say squirrel. She says a squirrel. Like they always have to have the es in front of any
Right.
word that has an s.
Yeah.
Always an e. It's like,
You know
oh,
exactly what we're
Yeah,
talking
dude,
about.
I know
too.
exactly what you're talking
playing
about.
a sport. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah, come to a school.
yeah, a school. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Are you
right?
a stupid?
Yeah, it's stupid.
That's
yeah.
stupid. Yeah.
That's like
Stupid
my
Neema,
main
right?
thing.
That's
I say.
perfect.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly,
my
yeah.
main thing that I brand them. But yeah, so a scroll is something I start doing on my stories on Instagram, specifically just on my stories,
Yeah.
and it fucking blew up. Like people like every day send me like I get like probably like 10 to 20 messages about a scroll. Like sent them filming the scrolls themselves, sending it to me,
Send
or
yeah.
sending
Videos
other
of
people's
squirrels?
videos of
Like-
like squirrels.
Yeah.
And saying a scroll,
Yeah.
and then there's ones where they like they're not
That's
even
so good.
there's ones where they tell their kids watch the video and they're going outside saying a scroll,
Yeah.
and they're sending that,
So cute.
and they're
That's
not even
amazing.
Persian. Most of them are not even Persian, which is the funny part. And so the thing he was talking about.
So yeah, a scroll, so like squirrel, like it's become such a like a phenomenon, let's say, or like just within his community. And we're like, man, wouldn't it be funny if we took like a food truck and we rebranded it to look like a squirrel, right? Like have you know Dumb and Dumber, ever seen that movie where they have like
I actually have not seen Dumb and
Oh,
Dumber.
fuck, bro, classic.
Believe it or
so
not.
in Dumb
yeah.
and Dumber they have this truck that like looks like a delivery truck that like they put
I gotta
like
pull this up.
yeah, show them on the thing, but they essentially like they made it look like a dog with ears. Like the car looks
Okay,
like an
okay.
animal.
I think I might have seen a picture of that.
For sure you
probably
have.
have,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure you have. So like imagine that kind of an idea, and then like, you know, Neema and my mom or some combination of them or a guest or something like that. Like we would, it's pure like a PR play, but we would drive around the streets with this fucking thing that looks like a squirrel, like a big squirrel, and just hand people nuts and like give out like, I don't know, bags of busty nuts. Like he has this thing that he does with one of his characters called Bobak.
Bobak
so
is
we-
my Persian fob character.
It's a Persian
Okay.
character. And so we for a skit, he actually branded Bobak's busty nuts.
Yeah.
It's like it's
It's so good. And this, if you also put fur on it, like that's crazy.
Well,
that's
that's
exactly
what I'm
it,
saying,
Very
right?
interesting.
That's
Okay.
exactly it.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
if y'all can see that. I don't know if you can, but
Here, hold on, let me see. Yeah, you can kind of. I'll put it up on the thing, anyways. But, anyways, like it's just a funny, silly idea that we're like, man, this would be so funny because it's just like little catchphrase, that people really like.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, in a world where if I had enough money to just buy this truck, rebrand it, buy a bunch of, I don't know, almonds or something.
Yeah, why not?
Or
Fuck it.
pistachios, right?
Because nuts is a big thing too for our culture. I know Arabs too.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think,
hell yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
and all
always
that
eating
stuff.
nuts. Always,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you guys probably dried
It's like like
dried
sunflower
fruits,
seeds,
sunflower
nuts.
fruits, all the
Uh-huh.
seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, dried fruits. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
big things. Yeah.
Huge.
And,
Does your family live here?
Yeah, so my family, my dad's side mainly lives in Canada and the States. My mom's side mainly lives in Egypt. So I go
they
to
live
Egypt
in
like
Egypt.
yeah,
Oh,
I go to
cool.
Egypt once a year. I was there
Sick.
like in August.
dope.
I go pretty often. Yeah,
So you're full Egyptian.
fully Egyptian.
And
Yeah.
And he looks
Cairo,
white
I'm
as fuck.
assuming, or
Cairo. Yeah, but I get half black, half white 99% of the time.
Really?
Half black, half white.
Nah,
I don't know, man. I get it.
it's
all
your
the
drip. That's
time.
why.
My
But
drip-
he's
I
got
think
a sick fucking
I think
watch.
also like especially when I had like more hair.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you guys can see.
He's got
I've been losing it.
He's got the Arab hair right there. He's got the he's got the balding Arab hair. That's it.
That's it. I might have to make a trip to Turkey.
Yeah,
Who
gotta go
knows?
to Turkey. Yeah,
Maybe. Who
Turkey, yeah,
knows?
bro. That's the place to be, man.
Damn.
What do they do? Just rub Turkish delights on your head and it
Yeah.
goes back?
I don't know, man. They have a thing. I personally, I'm gonna be honest. I simply do not care. Like I've
That's
had
good.
short hair for a long time, man. Even before
Yeah,
I was
okay.
like, I already had short hair, so I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
really care.
No, you
What
shouldn't.
I wanted to do, though, is because I wanted to grow it. Because when I was acting, I wanted to be able to get different roles, and I thought if I had like
True.
longer hair, I could like play around with it and stuff.
But they could just put wigs on and stuff. then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe it just doesn't matter, and I've just kind
No.
of gotten lazy and haven't gone around to it. Like, if my friends are booking it, I'll just do it because it's vacation,
Yeah.
But like other than that, I'm not like pressed about it.
No, who cares,
Also, like Jason Statham, bro.
That's
Look at
true.
him.
That's
Every
true.
role
Facts.
he's a bald guy. Like
Exactly. No,
George
I'm
Costanza?
completely
Yeah,
comfortable.
George
Yeah,
Costanza.
George Costanza, but he's like made fun of it, so I don't know if that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I simply don't care. But at the same time, when I want to get back into acting, I mean, like you said, wigs. There's a billion things. I mean, this is
There's makeup now. Like there's so much CGI they could do. Like
Dude,
yeah.
you
yeah.
don't have to fucking do. Yeah, you,
And
you
you guys
don't have to
will
look
be
the part.
acting in the metaverse at some point. We'll just,
Exactly.
we'll digitally make whatever you
dude.
want.
I don't know what's going on with that, man.
Where did you grow up?
In Canada, in
Like, born
Mississauga.
here?
I was born in Mississauga.
Sagar.
How old are you?
30.
30.
Yeah,
When's your birthday?
February 23rd.
What's coming up ish?
close.
Yeah, it's coming
Very
up
good.
ish.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mississauga, which explains the Arabness. That makes sense. A lot of falafel and shawarma over
A
there.
lot of falafel, and
100%.
every Egyptian owns a pharmacy.
What high school did you
there.
go to?
Every Egyptian
over
has
there.
pharmacy.
Exactly. Gonzaga. Well, I went to two high schools. Gordon Graydon, grade 9 and
I remember
10.
that one.
It actually shut down. Like it was,
Oh, okay.
it was ancient.
Oh wow.
Mm.
And then Gonzaga, grade 11 and 12.
I heard that one before.
Gonzaga, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Catholic school.
And you live there now? Or
I actually do live there now.
oh, cool.
Yeah, I just have my place near Square One now.
That's cool.
Yeah,
you
so
live on your own now. You moved out.
yeah.
Finally,
It's just like it was like.
This guy made it.
It's
He made
time.
it out of the house.
How old are you guys?
I'm 26, turning 27 end of this month, and
32,
32. Okay.
33 in January.
yeah.
Cool. You know, one thing that I think is very, like, I told you, like, skydiving is one thing that, like, scared me and I wanted to try it. One thing that scares me and I don't really want to try it is stand-up comedy.
Mhm.
That is some hard shit to do.
Probably, yeah. That's probably harder than skydiving.
Dude,
in my
I would
opinion.
say so. In my opinion, it is too. Like, skydiving, you jump out of the plane. You don't have to think of
yeah.
that much. You just got to pull the chute.
You can
With
shit your
this,
pants. No
talent
one's gonna
involved,
know.
No one will know.
No one's gonna know. You could throw up because it's just gonna spread everywhere. No
Oh
one's
my
gonna find
God.
out.
Dude, like, how'd you get into stand-up? Like, how'd the first time go? Like, what happened with that?
Oh well, I mean, I started when I was 19, almost 20, I think, in 2014. And I dropped out of university and I went to Humber College.
Just to do, you
Just
want
do
to do some comedy?
Yeah, and I did that for 2 years. Learned the basics, the fundamentals, made a lot of connections, and then
Oh, in Humber?
at Humber, yeah,
What
there's a
kind of
comedy program. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. You could.
What do
even,
they teach you how to,
go
like,
into
write
film.
jokes?
Everything, yeah. Like there's stand-up courses, there's sketch comedy courses. They teach you how to write sketches, write for TV, screenplay. Like there's so many things, and then improv, acting, all that stuff. They teach it
Damn,
also.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and that's where I got my base, my foundation, and then from there I just kind of branched off. I was doing YouTube from the very beginning, 2014 till now even, and then 2019 is where I started TikTok and Instagram videos, and then yeah.
TikTok blow things up for you?
First it was TikTok and Instagram at the beginning, but more so TikTok, and then Instagram more,
Mm-hmm.
and then TikTok, and then now it's both.
I'm
Good.
finding it harder to grow on Instagram.
Instagram's way harder.
Yeah, I find
it's way
TikTok
harder.
is like
It's
pretty
so much
straightforward. You
easier.
get some viral videos and you're good to go.
100% legit.
Yeah.
We got banned like a month and a half
Dude,
ago.
I heard a lot of people are doing that. So you obviously got it
got
back.
back and like
Yeah.
I was getting shadow banned, and like they took down my videos a lot leading up to the ban, like 7 times probably. They removed my videos.
What kind of stuff like were you talking about? Like
Nothing.
weird
Like,
stuff?
no, I was just doing my regular videos, like my accents or like just like other videos, sketches that I post, and then like they would take it down for like graphic violence or kid danger or some bullshit. And then they after a month they unbanned it, and then I gained like probably 150,000 by now.
Yeah.
Since a month and a half ago, when it took me 3 years almost to build 180,000.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And
So
all
you
of a
came
sudden
back with
now
a
it's
vengeance.
like, yeah, literally because now it's like they haven't like really removed anything. Maybe a couple here and there, but it's like really been in my favor now, which is weird. I don't
Amazing.
know why.
Amazing.
But like,
It was just so obvious there was like a shadow ban of some kind.
Mhm.
And like, you know, as you know, you're a fan of Joe Rogan, and like there's been not only people on the show who have said it, but then he's also regurgitated it later on that like there's clear testimony, if you will, from people who have worked at places like TikTok and Instagram that have since left. And then they've said like, yo, we have full control. Like, you know, shut your shit down, shadow ban this person. Like,
Boost someone else.
yeah, there's crazy. There's a lot of, I don't know. It kind of like takes away the fun of the game.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Like the merit of the game. And that's the part that like kind of,
Let the
disappoints
original
me.
content flourish. Like
Yeah,
let the
man.
content speak for itself. Don't
yeah.
like
Don't
play with
paddle with
things.
it. It's like, you know,
Exactly.
who are you to decide what quality
I know.
is? Like
Mhm.
up to, you know, for who, right? Like,
yeah,
100%.
who's the arbiter of the comedy or truth or whatever, you know,
exactly.
like, you know, but now anyways, to his credit, like now that it's been back. So how it actually happened, we've told the story once, but it's interesting to repeat. We had somebody reach out to us who's a journalist for National Post or some major,
yeah,
can't remember, maybe it was National Post.
yeah. Something
And
that,
he's
yeah.
like, hey, like I'm really interested in this thing, and like I'm a fan of yours, and I saw what happened. Like,
really interested in like talking about the ban.
he was interested in censorship as a topic,
Okay,
and then
okay.
he saw that it happened to him, and he's like, I'm a fan of yours. That kind of sucks. Like, I might be able to like help you out, or like at the very minimum, like raise awareness. I'm like, great. Like, we'll take any. We were actually like we were actually settled into like, all right, like they don't want us. Fuck it. Like, what can we do?
Mhm.
We also don't want them. You know, like we just had. That was the only choice we had.
Exactly.
And then this guy comes along, Mike. If you're listening, you're a dope dude, by the way. Thanks, man.
yeah,
And he came and he basically wrote them an email asking them for information and saying, hey, like you must have created some internal document that is circulated in your like internally about shutting down certain accounts. Like they have to do that by law. He's like, I'd like to see that letter. Or like, give me a copy of it because it's technically also should be private.
true.
Because the content, if you look at like, I don't know this for sure. Like I'm trying to just do a best retail, but if you look at the IP and like who owns what, and you know, it's technically still my content. Yes, it's on your platform. Like it's very kind of gray, but it's actually because of that gray area that they seemingly, this is just I'm just surmising here, but like it seems like they got kind of spooked by the fact that if they can't produce that document, which they probably can't, because somebody back here is probably meddling with it in the background.
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes later, after sending the email, he gets a response saying, thank you for your inquiry. We've like unbanned or removed the ban or whatever. Thank you. And like they didn't answer any of his questions, right?
Nothing.
Like they
Yeah.
just put the account
Who
back.
did this guy email?
I don't know. Info at TikTok. I don't know.
No, I don't. Well, maybe because he has at National Post or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
That's what I'm
That's
guessing.
probably
Email.
why.
That's probably it.
100% because it's an
Jeez.
official
Yeah.
thing, and they don't want to get exposed or something. I don't know.
And so the last part of that is then when it came back online, first of all, he noticed that there was features that were available to us or to him, like to our account, that weren't before. And then like, you know,
Yeah.
after the first, second, third video, we're like, holy shit, like, man, we're getting so much engagement and
Yeah.
like people are saying, wow, I
Snapping.
haven't seen your videos. Like, stuff for that. And you start, you know, again, I don't know for sure, but I'm just
Mhm.
like trying to add 2 + 2. And so this is
Of
what it
course.
looks
Makes sense,
looks like,
though.
It makes sense.
you know?
Yeah.
And so here we are, fucking
Yeah.
100 or almost
Like,
whatever, like double.
Almost doubled in
like
like a month
quick.
and a half or something. That's
And-
Quick,
crazy.
like,
Yeah.
shit was going
Good.
viral like every
Yeah.
few days. Like it was like, what the fuck?
That's
Like
the
if this
best.
happened from the beginning, bro, I'd be at millions by now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Millions.
100%.
Like the literally like exponentially by this point, I would have been I don't know, probably 10 million or some shit.
And it's
But
and if
Just
you
gotta
know
keep it
us and
going.
if you've listened to any of the episodes, like you'll know like the metrics mean something to us, or obviously not the end goal
Yeah,
at
it's
all,
not-
but it shows like
there's
some
something,
version
yeah.
of growth, right? Like
Exactly.
it's some
There's some
metric.
value.
Exactly.
So when you see it going up, like it's like nice. You're like, man, I'm doing something.
Yeah,
my community
it's
is growing,
reassuring.
right? That's
Mhm.
great. But the thing that like I'm not disappointed about, I'm just saying like the part that's upsetting from like a pure capitalist standpoint of like, okay, man, if it's true competition, let it be that way. Don't get in the way. If this guy's content
Agreed.
actually is the community is saying they want more of it, whoever you are back there, who are you to decide, right? And like just like it pains me from the standpoint of like not that we would have, but we may have had opportunities to leverage that audience or the numbers or the following at an earlier time in a better way to help make the content down the line bigger, better, faster, etc.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not a big deal. Like, what are we complaining about?
Yeah.
Ultimately, on a very macro point, but just like, I don't know, like I like the game. You know what I'm saying? Like again, you're a fan of Gary Vee. You probably heard him say it a million times. But like, we just like the game cart. Like, I want to win with merit.
Yeah,
exactly.
I want to keep doing what I'm doing.
I want fair play, and I want to just prove myself in the game.
Exactly.
I don't want someone to be pushing me down while letting someone go.
Yeah,
go
no.
Like,
I don't want to take anyone else down for my own gain. Like I want to push my own shit.
Exactly. I want everyone on the same field.
Yeah.
Whatever I come out with, it competes against everything else. Yeah. And we see, what does better, and that's it.
That's it. Exactly. Yeah. Whoever works harder gets the most.
That's it.
That's how you get rewarded.
Exactly. That's I think how it was more in the beginning. Like for me at least, because like as long as I stayed consistent, my videos kept just growing, and I was always kind of growing. But yeah, and I took a kind of a hiatus when I was traveling. I took like a 6-month break, so my momentum is very low. So I'm kind of rebuilding that. Do not take a 6-month break.
Definitely fucking not doing that.
Do not do that.
Yeah,
but it was a good lesson. And at the same time, I was traveling and stuff like that.
Sometimes life, you gotta experience it.
Yeah, man. And I was really kind of scaling out my other businesses as well. So.
Well, at least you have other shit though.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff was like really flying, and I was like spending a lot of time on it and stuff. That's where I was like really scaling out my ads. So I was like, I'm making I don't really need to spend the time here. And then that kind of just dragged on, and then I went on vacation, and then I came back, another vacation, and then I was like, I'll come back to it at the end of the summer.
Yeah, no, totally.
It's not your main thing though. You're not trying to are you trying to make content? Like you're a content creator, or
I really enjoy it. Like I genuinely enjoy doing it. I think it can lead to a lot of other things. Like I like saying stories. I like doing that kind of stuff. So I really like doing it. Just when I was traveling, I kind of forgot how much I enjoed it. And then when I came back, I was like, I like doing this. Right. So that's why right now I'm just getting back into it. I'm just putting out a video a day, maybe like 5 videos a week, 4 or 5 videos a week. And I'll just kind of grow it. And eventually I just know that in this game, and just like everything else, consistency is the biggest thing.
Exactly.
So as long as you stay consistent in this, just like pretty much anything, you're going to be good.
100%. You'll see the results.
It's like Jerry Seinfeld. I don't know if you know, but like when he was kind of coming up as a stand-up comedian, he used to do this thing where he'd have a calendar, right? And every day on the calendar, he would have to write it. He would have to write jokes. And as long as he wrote a joke, he put an X on the calendar. Wow. And then every single day he had an X. And then you know how Jerry Seinfeld's like, just look at the chain. You can't break the chain. So he just like, don't break the chain. And every single day, just Xing, right? And that was like his one thing that he had to do every day for him to be successful. So for me, like with TikTok, it's more like my one thing is just come out with a video every day, and it's a minute video. I could definitely do that.
You could easily do more.
Yeah, I could. Because I'm doing so many things at the same time. But yeah, I mean, 1, 2, 3 videos is fine. Also, because right now I'm like putting applications for speaking around like the States and stuff like that. So I'm kind of like a bit I give myself an hour for social media or my personal brand, right? So every day, kind of my routine, and then I give myself usually from 10 to 11 in the morning. That's where I'm doing like my social media stuff. That includes doing a TikTok and what else I have to do. If I have more time, if I don't have like other things to do, I'll just do more TikToks, but that's my hour.
Wow. So just 1 hour you're on the app.
Yeah. I got to stay consistent on this hour and do it. I have kind of I'll go a bit beyond. If I'm like in the middle of a video, it's going to take an extra like 10, 20 minutes. Yeah. I'll do it. If I can't figure out a video to do or nothing for that hour, I'll just won't do a video because I'd rather not try to push it. Right. I don't want to like come out with bad content just for the sake of coming out with content. But as long as I'm spending that hour, I'm looking for stuff, something will come later that day, or I'll have something for the next day. And that's kind of how things have been going for me.
So how do you find and develop these stories to tell?
So I have a bunch of different things. So I follow a bunch of different accounts on Instagram. I also do a lot of Googling, and I read a lot. I like reading books and stuff like that. And anytime something interesting comes out, I have a notepad. And I'll just write it down, and then I'll just kind of I also now kind of have a social media manager. She doesn't really do story development, but anytime she finds stories, and I've told her kind of where to look and stuff like that, she'll hit me up with those stories too. Wow. So I kind of have like all of that stuff. And then once I know the story, I just jump in and do it. Like I just did a story today about this. I just saw this news article, And I was like, this is the worst thing that could happen to a woman. She basically, well, not the worst thing that happened to a woman. The worst thing that can happen to a woman after she wins a soccer game. Just to correct.
Nice specificity.
Yeah. So she's on the Iranian national soccer team.
Iran, number one.
Yes,
Number one.
exactly.
Love
Her
it.
team wins, like the Iranian team, they win in shootouts 4-2 against Jordan. And then Jordan, they basically write and ask for an investigation to make sure that the woman goalkeeper, is actually a woman.
And not a man.
Yeah, not
Legit.
a man.
Transgender.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
So I was like, that's
That's
a crazy
hilarious.
story. So that was like my story today. So I just
Oh,
saw this
wow.
random article.
Yeah.
I think I was like on Google or something. I was
Yeah.
like,
What
what
the
the heck?
hell? That's so random.
So I looked at it. I was like, I got to talk about that.
And were they all wearing hijabs during the game?
Yeah, but it's not about that. She has like kind of a really strong jaw and whatever. But I mean, in other pictures, you could tell it's a woman.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess when you lose, you're looking for any kind of excuse. So
Especially down there, they're someone's paying somebody.
yeah, 100%, man. So I don't
We
know.
want your oil.
What's your audience like?
like percentage wise in terms of
No,
like
just
age
like
and stuff like that.
Yeah, or like what kind of people, or like I don't know.
You know, it's tougher to say now. I have mainly in America, so I got like I think 55% in America. So
Like where? Just
it doesn't.
in
I don't know.
general?
I don't know where.
I don't think
really?
it breaks it down by city. Or
Oh, really?
state.
In the
TikTok
States?
doesn't. No, it doesn't.
you
No,
sure?
yeah,
I know
I
this
think-
because I obviously look at our own analytics
Yeah.
and it
Oh,
doesn't
really?
break it down. No,
No, but it breaks down by country for
just
sure.
by country. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it doesn't do by age. TikTok does not do by age.
No, I don't.
Really?
It,
Oh,
it's
no,
very,
they don't.
it's very
They don't.
limited.
Yeah.
The analytics. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's also 50-50 male female.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so you know, I kind of just talk about a range of things. I've had people freaking pissed off at me,
Why?
like
Like haters or just people who are like disgruntled.
there used to be haters. I just don't care.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like it.
Yeah, you can't.
I'm gonna be honest. When you start out, and maybe you kind of felt the same way. There's sometimes where I'll be doing like kind of a video that might be a bit controversial, whatever. Maybe something about the vaccine or whatever, right? And then I'll get so much hate, but like really like pointed hate that I'm like I'm okay. I'm older than most people that are coming out with content. You know, I've been through a lot of stuff in my life. So for me, it doesn't really faze me as much, but I can be like, I can understand why people that are 16, 17 have like mental health issues from like dealing with that kind of hate.
For sure.
Cause like
100%.
if it's like even affecting me at all, dude, like if I got that hate when I was 16, 17, I'd be like, I'm the worst person in the world. You know, like
sure.
people,
It's very easy to believe
so
that.
true,
yeah, nowadays, like it is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy
it's-
how much hate people give
Yeah.
and have to receive, you know, just for coming out with like opinions.
Random shit.
Yeah. Random shit. Dancing videos.
Dancing, yeah. But yeah.
It's crazy.
Man, it's actually insane. Yeah. It's
Have
a
you had to
totally
like deal with that
different
kind of stuff
mindset.
too?
Oh,
Yeah, all the time.
Oh yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
then you just got to kind of vibe with it.
There's nothing you can do. I mean, the best way I can definitely put it to somebody that makes it easy for them to understand where I come from is if I had to listen to everybody who hated a certain video and told me it was offensive and that I shouldn't do it, then what am I left with? What am I left with to film?
Mm-hmm.
If I listen to every single person on each of those videos.
Mm-hmm.
So just stop all of them?
Of course not.
You can't.
And at the end of the day, I mean, comedy is comedy, bro. Like someone's gonna get offended at something. Like, look at Dave Chappelle.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I mean,
does not
even
matter.
like with your accents, which I think is hilarious.
Thank you. Yeah, I
I
appreciate that.
love those videos. I told you,
Yeah.
but I'm sure some people are like, you can't say that. You can't
All
do
the
that
time, yeah.
accent.
For sure.
Cultural appropriation.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
comedy. Russell Peters. Back when Russell Peters was like a big thing, especially when he came out with that first special.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the funniest thing. I watched
I know.
that in my grade 9 French class.
See?
Like it was
Legit,
that
that's what I'm
open
saying,
back then.
Yeah.
Dude,
That was
literally two
cultural.
episodes ago, we talked for like 20 minutes on the Russell Peters thing. I was trying to make a different point, but to your point, like, man, that was 18 years ago, and like, it's still memorable. Like, man,
Yeah,
Russell-
people still like quote his shit. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I do. You know what I mean? Like, he's still that guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know what the fuck happened in the past 10 years.
Dude, I have no idea. Everyone
But
got super sensitive.
I'm trying to bring that shit back, you know?
Dude,
like,
please
to the
do.
Russell Peters era.
Please do.
You know?
I actually
Please do.
I actually don't feel like the amount of people upset has gone up. I just feel like the amount that you hear that voice or that message has
Mm.
gone up. I
Mhm.
actually don't think like there's more people. I don't know anything. This is
think
purely my guess, right?
They have a
Like,
louder voice now.
that's it.
Yeah, that's all it is.
I just think you're just a bit louder than everybody else.
And you know what
know?
it is also?
They're-
Is that everyone that's that thinks it's the most ridiculous thing,
Mhm.
amplifies the voice by saying
Right.
how stupid it is.
I know.
And then they get other fringe people that are kind of joining it, and it just explodes. I mean, with Twitter and all this kind of stuff, like,
Twitter's not
Twitter's
a real
toxic
place.
fucking
dude, I
place,
don't even
man.
have a Twitter account. I'm
Don't,
not gonna
yeah.
do that.
Twitter's not a real place.
Twitter's
Dude.
madness, dude. It just
It is.
doesn't matter. Like we've just experienced, like it doesn't matter what you put out. Somebody won't like it for whatever reason, offended or just, oh, this guy's a loser or anything in between those two.
Mhm.
But it's hard, right? To be, to your credit, 16 or younger, actually, even, which is very
Legit.
common. And somebody's like, I don't know, like I'm just trying to picture like I'm a
Anything.
13-year-old girl. And
Anything.
oh, you're ugly.
Yeah, legit. Just
And that's
that.
not even that. It is bad, but it's not even
No,
like
no.
you're a
Yeah.
effing whatever. Like it's not even vulgar. It's just
Or like your
but-
nose is weird. You know what I mean? Like the
Oh,
shit will
yeah. Oh,
fucking-
like
That
exactly.
will
Yeah.
last so long.
specific
Yeah.
things will like last. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. And the thing is, you're like, let's say you're 13 years old. You happen to come out with a video that goes viral because some of the most random
sure.
stuff go viral.
All the time. Yeah.
And then you get someone that wrote like you have a weird nose.
Yeah.
And that gets like 10,000
Thousands.
likes.
That's what I'm saying.
And you're like-
likes kill it.
I know the
dude.
likes. It's like, oh, that means like they all agree. That means
Everyone
I'm actually
agrees.
have a weird nose. Oh, I'm a this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like,
there's so much.
geez.
I know it's fine.
I just
it's fucked
and I
up.
don't know what to what's the solution. Like I don't think that you're gonna say, okay, nobody go on social media. Like let's all get off it. I mean, in theory, that could be really nice to explore, but the reality is that's probably not happening. The problem is,
Never.
right? So if that's true, then how do you? Like I don't want to deny a 12-year-old access to TikTok for the reasons that obviously are real, but I still would want to. And not me. I'm just saying, like in theory, like it would be nice to have some scenario where either the creators or the people on the app are, I don't know, somehow brainwashed. Like when you enter like a festival and there's like, here's our 10 rules. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, rule number 1, people probably won't say the things they're saying online to your face in person.
Mhm.
Number 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 2. Let's define what a keyboard warrior is. Somebody who's super powerful standing behind a keyboard. Number
Exactly.
3, people, when they express themselves is a projection of how they feel on the inside about themselves.
Yeah.
And then here, great. Now you're ready for social media.
Exactly.
Like I almost, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
So
be
I agree
Like
with
the
every
terms and
single
conditions.
thing. I agree with every single thing you said. What I think, just take it one step further, is if you tell people that one time when they're just going in, people are gonna forget. But that's why I think like okay,
Be like pop-up
for
ads.
me, yeah, exactly.
Like
this,
on porn
This
sites
isn't
and
real.
shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's only 5 miles away and wants to fuck you.
Oh, there's a lot of cougars around me, bro. Apparently.
Damn.
Always in my area.
Yeah, all the time. Even when I travel, they're just there.
I know,
Ashley's
yeah. It's
always
crazy.
looking for
I
you
know.
guys. eh?
That's one of my jokes I have.
Yeah, it's a stand-up joke.
Stand-up joke.
Perfect.
I'll just say it because I like doing it, but it's pretty much like whenever you go on a porn site, it's like there's always those ads. But like recently, like I go on any site and it's always the same ad pops up. Ashley's only 5 miles away and wants to fuck, right? And then I'm like, for the first little bit didn't faze me, but then now I'm like, wait a minute, what if this is real? Like, what if Ashley really is only 5 miles away? And she's been trying to reach me for years, bro.
Like doubting yourself.
I'm doubting myself. I'm like, man, like, what if I missed out on my opportunities with Ashley? Like, she's
That's
happy,
so
horny,
good.
lives in my area. Like,
She's been waiting for so
she's waiting
just for
Just
me.
for
me.
Fucking Ashley.
That's so
I
good.
knew it.
That's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what I was saying is like when I was a kid, man, like I hid things from my parents all the time, because like Arab mentality, you're not allowed to have a girlfriend, for example.
Of course.
I had a girlfriend. I just didn't tell my parents. They ended up catching me. It was a huge, like, annoying
sure.
argument. You know how it is.
Astaghfirullah.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Are you religious or are your parents?
I go to church every once in a while. Like I go to church like once or twice a month, kind of thing.
Wait, so you guys are Muslim or
Christian.
Oh, you're Christian.
Yeah.
All right, Egyptians.
Well, it's like a
Um,
small percent. I think like 10% of Egyptians are Christian, 90% Muslim.
Yeah, and same with Lebanese people. There are a lot of Christians there too.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the percentages, but I know there are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew that until first year university when I was in a dorm with fucking all the Arabs.
Yeah. And they all,
And I thought they were all Muslim usually my whole life, and then it's like, no, I'm Christian. Like I don't.
I've
I
met
don't pray or
I've even met Persian Christians.
Yeah, that's
I know that
weird.
exists
I've
either.
met
I
that
didn't
too. Yeah, I met that too.
But,
But yeah, so like I
So
was saying, like I lied to my parents about a lot of stuff back then because they weren't really that open with
had
it.
to.
But if I were to, I don't have any kids, but if I were to have kids and they wanted to get like on TikTok and stuff, I'd be like, look, you want to do it? If I tell you no, you're going to do it anyways. So, as long as you have that kind of open thing where I'm like looking at their stuff, looking at their comments and basically kind of coach them through. Cause I think it'd be a really good opportunity to coach your kids through like, those kinds of problems because you're going in the real world. Eventually, someone's going to say something to annoy you or offend you.
Totally.
And you cannot just get offended at everything and then shut down and go into a shell. You know,
It
if you
affects
can
your
learn
real
to,
life.
yeah, if you can learn to kind of take it and understand where it's coming from, understand exactly what you said. It's like their own insecurities and all that kind of stuff. Then it's very powerful for the future, I think.
You're gonna start shitting on them, like on your own.
Yeah,
first.
exactly.
Just say the worst shit. And then when they go to social media, they're
For
good.
sure.
Yeah, oh,
It's like,
that's true.
fuck, my
Just
dad
bash-
always
you
tells
just
me I'm a
bash them
terrible
all day.
person.
Just bash them all day. It's perfect.
Oh, you said my back has weird shape. My dad always chirps my back. I don't give a fuck.
Calls me the
Yeah, I
Hunchback
care.
of Notre Dame.
Yeah,
What do you want me
Hunchback,
to
I don't
do?
give a fuck.
Tells
Yeah.
me I suck every day.
Yeah, exactly. My dad spits on me all the time. Oh wait, that's daddy.
Oh no.
Yeah, oh
Jeez.
no.
Oh my man, bro, there's a religious guy in our presence. Hey, come on, bro.
Yeah. This is
not
haram.
ha- it's
This is
not
what's
haram.
how it's haram for Christians.
Yeah,
Sin? That's a sin.
Yeah, I guess sin.
that's a sin.
I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. We just say haram.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I guess it's an Arab thing more than anything.
Exactly. You know how it is. Like Arab, it
Same
works.
culture,
It works
yeah.
for
It works
everything.
for everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you about like this public speaking and like mindset stuff that you're doing.
Mhm.
Where did you learn about mindset, self-awareness, those kinds of fun
You know,
buzzwords?
man, so like I like Tony Robbins a lot. Hey, do you guys know Tony Robbins?
Yeah.
For sure.
Sorry, I
So,
just gotta write that bit down really quick. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, go for it.
Shitting on your kid before social media.
That's a
I
good way to
always
go.
write it.
Like a training.
yeah.
Yeah.
Free social media training. That's it.
And if it ends with one final fight.
One huge verbal altercation with your dad.
So I'm assuming you've seen Seinfeld now, like
Yeah.
the George Costanza. So imagine you do like a Festivus at the end of your.
Yeah.
You're about to go to great high
Happy
school
Festivus with that thing where
with
you,
the
what's it called? Where you're
the pole, the steel pole,
Yeah,
the
like-
feats of strength.
and you talk about like what you hate about everyone and what
Yeah, you
everyone's
air
pissing
your
off.
grievances.
Yeah, that's the one.
Can you imagine? You're like, all right, son, tomorrow's your first day of grade 9. Bring out the steel pole. We're gonna air our grievances.
Now you get shut on.
Okay, Tony Robbins.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Tony Robbins fan, and I'm listening to his stuff for a long time. I read a lot of books, even through like university and stuff like that. So I kind of grew up with that, but I got really challenged. I mean, I could tell you guys in 2016, what happened is that I graduated 2013. And then for 3 years, I was kind of working this stuff where I was raising investments I was raising investment money for projects around Toronto and Canada in general. Anyways, I won't get into that. Long story short, I trusted the wrong people. There were some issues with that. I ended up leaving and I had about $20,000 saved up. Okay. So I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to sell things online because I see these people living this crazy life. They could travel around the world, do all that kind of stuff. And all they're doing is selling on Amazon. I was like, I buy things on Amazon. I'm sure I could sell things on Amazon. So I ended up buying a bunch of it's kind of a long story how you find products to sell on Amazon. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. It's called Amazon FBA. I found something I wanted to sell, shipped it from China into the US, spent my life savings on it, lost all my money in like 3 months. Okay. I thought I was going to become a millionaire in like a month, but the opposite happened. Had no money. It was Thanksgiving of 2016. So I don't remember the exact day, October 8th, 2016, something like that. And I had no money, couldn't afford rent, lived in my car for 30 days while I ended up getting a telemarketing job to basically make money to pay rent. Now, my parents, they didn't really realize I was doing that. They would have taken me in. My parents are very supportive, but at the same time, I made a commitment to pay rent. And if I can't pay it, I'm kind of like someone that if I give my word on something, I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up doing that. It was, I guess, my lowest point, but it taught me a lot of stuff. I ended up getting that telemarketing job, did pretty good in that, made like a lot of commission off the things I was doing. And then in 2017, I tried selling online again. And this time it actually worked. I didn't do Amazon. I did something called Shopify drop shipping. Long story short, that worked really, really well for me. And then I kind of just built out from there. And, I was able to do a bunch of traveling and kind of learn about how to run a business, how to hire people, how to train people, how to build a team so that I don't really have to work that much, So I just kind of built out this big thing. And then I was like, I've been reading a lot of books. I've been learning a lot of stuff. And I spent so much money on Facebook ads that you have to have a certain mindset when it comes to that. You know, you have to know that, like, you know, how to know when you're doing something good, how to know when to scale things out, how to know how to test. And the mindset behind spending money on stuff like that is different than like mindset of like shopping, obviously. Right. So I kind of learned all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I've scaled out, I've spent like up to 50 grand a day on ads. Like I spent a lot of money on Facebook ads. So
50 grand a day?
Yeah. I spent millions and millions on Facebook. So
God
I've gotten
damn.
really good at doing Facebook ads. Yeah.
I can tell.
So because of that, I was able to start, you know, sharing with people. And earlier this year, I started teaching people how to do online marketing, how some people do really, really good. And so from there, I was like, you know what? I want to start just public speaking, right? I want to get out there. I love speaking. I love public speaking. I like the idea of traveling around and just getting paid to speak. So, you know, I have a lot of experience, stuff that I kind of will lean on. And I've just done so much in a specific industry that it's not hard for me to come out with topics or come out with things where I can add value. As long as I know who my audience is and what they're looking for, I've done it. I had to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where all of that comes from.
Interesting. It's kind of like by experience, like experientially, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you are like you went to school. I mean, civil engineering. It's
I did that.
not exactly a GED. No disrespect or anything. I'm
Yeah,
to
no,
whoever's getting a GED, but so you're obviously like intellectual in the let's call it classic sense. But you seem kind of entrepreneurial.
Yeah, I mean, look, becoming a civil engineer, it helped me learn how to learn. I guess that's like my biggest value from going to university. I graduated, I finished it all, but it really taught me how to learn. And I got a lot of confidence in myself because I was able to learn that I could pick things up pretty fast. You know, although it was my last year at university, we were doing this project where there was this reinforced concrete beam, basically reinforced. There's steel at the bottom, and then they were putting load on it, and we were looking at the cracks, and all my colleagues were like flipping out, looking at all the cracks. And I was like, you know, I just don't give a shit. This is not interesting to me at all.
Yeah. Feel that.
I am not going to do this for my life. So that was when I knew this is not for me.
For sure.
I want to go do my own thing. And also, I cannot get a job. I can't have
hard.
someone tell me you can only vacation this much of the year.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to work between this hour and this hour. And I'm only going to pay you this much. What do you mean?
Yeah,
what if I work more? I should get paid more.
I know.
Who are you to tell me I can't go on vacation?
It's
You
so
know?
weird. Yeah. Yeah. When you
Like,
put it that way.
And we're like right now it's 2021. So for your listeners, I mean, there's a bunch of ways to make money, and you can make way more money than you can like in a regular job. And I've done it. I've seen a lot of people do it. You just have to take a risk and take a chance on yourself. You know what I mean? So
100%.
yeah.
I
So
believe in that. And also the thing that we, at least me myself, struggle with the most is the frame of reference of money. Is like I don't know what a lot is or a little is. Like I've never made more than like, I don't know, fucking 20 grand in a year, pretty much, like my whole life.
Well, you're
So
also
I'm like-
you said you're 26.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't
I was
know.
living
I don't
in a
know
car
what,
at that age, so it's
Sorry?
not bad. I was living in a car at that
Okay,
age,
yeah,
so it
that's what
wasn't
I'm
that bad. Yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, I don't know how much a lot is. Like, you're talking about like 50 grand a day on Facebook ads. I'm like, bro, I haven't even made that in like 10 years. And like, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not saying that's whatever. But like, what's a lot of money to you? And like, what's like a normal amount of money to you? Do you think?
That's a tough question because it's all relative, and it depends on in what capacity.
Context, yeah.
So, for example, if I'm making 50 grand a day profit, I'm like, oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's quite good.
Right.
But if I'm spending 50 grand a day on ads, I I've kind of done that. There's no number you could tell me on how much you spend on a day on ads that I'll be shocked about, because I've just seen everything. I know people that spend way more than me.
For sure.
Well, for
I know
sure,
people that
of
spend
course.
hundreds of $100,000 a day
Yeah,
and
even
stuff like
millions
that.
probably.
Yeah. Well, I actually don't know anyone that I think that spends millions of dollars a day, but maybe someone
Maybe
I
these
know.
big ass corporations.
Oh yeah, they do. But I'm
For
talking
sure.
about like individual people,
Individual,
like with
yeah.
their businesses. I know these companies spend a lot more than that. But when it comes to spending money on ads, no number is big to me, right? Like I've kind of seen all of that, and the reason you're spending that much money on ads because you're making an ROI.
Yeah.
If you're making money,
So what's the difference?
if you have a machine where every time you put in $1, you get $2 out, you're gonna put in literally, you're gonna mortgage your house. You're gonna do everything you can to put money in this machine, this amazing magical machine.
Yeah.
And this amazing magical machine to me because I've just been doing it for so long, is Facebook ads,
Mm.
right? So I've just learned how to do that. I know people that don't touch Facebook ads. They do stuff like Google ads, native ads, whatever
Doesn't do shit.
they might do. Yeah, I mean, well, they know how to do it. I just don't like that stuff. I've gotten really good at like this particular thing.
Yeah.
You know, like one of my good friends, he makes a lot of money on email.
Email.
Lots of money. He does a lot of email marketing. He's
Really?
an expert email marketer. Tons of money in that. So
wow.
there's so many different
Damn.
things. Yeah, there's the world.
We're gonna start doing that.
Dude, I'm telling you guys, in this day and age, you can make so much money if you learn how to do a specific skill when it comes to online marketing, right? Like I'm convinced. But yeah, I don't know if that completely answers your question. It really depends on what capacity.
Yeah, I mean,
You know
I
what
think
I'm
that's a hard. I mean, even if you ask me, I would have a hard time answering myself. But one
like
thing
I could easily answer it myself.
Okay, what is it?
Like for me, a lot of money is like getting like I'm saying at once, like making money, like regularly.
Okay, yeah.
I'd say a lot of money for me is like more than 15 grand. Like at once.
Like on a check, you mean?
On a check or some shit.
Like what, every 2 weeks or something?
Something like that. I'm like, that's a lot to me.
Yeah,
Well,
That's
of
my
course,
reference
yeah.
of money.
for
I'm
sure.
saying some people, I was like, that's fucking pocket change. So I'm saying like, that's why I'm
Well, yeah.
like,
So it's you know, it all comes down to relative, you know, to how you are, you know. So it's like, have you heard of like the thermostat kind of concept?
no.
Okay, so basically, there's this concept that let's say you have your thermostat set, I don't know, like 22 degrees Celsius. Okay, and then you open the window, it's cold outside, temperature drops. This thing picks up the heat to bring it back up to 22 or 23, whatever it is. If it's hot outside, it goes up and then it brings it back down. It always brings it back down, right? So when you kind of start to make money, you know what I'm saying? Let's say you're used to making 50 grand a year. If you start to make less than 50 grand a year, you start to get nervous. You're like, what the hell's going on? I have to kind of get things back on and go back to 50. That's where you're comfortable. If you start making more than that, your mindset might just bring it back down to 50. You know what I'm saying? You might spend money on stupid things, whatever. You kind of just go down to where you're comfortable at. Okay. And that happened to me for a while. Like I was making, when I first started the drop shipping stuff and it started to work out well for me, that's when I was making around 8 to 10, maybe 8 to 12 grand a month. Okay. And that was good. That was way more than I was doing, making
good.
nothing
Yeah.
at the time. As USD, living in Canada.
It's not bad.
Yeah. But then I started to surround myself with people that were making way more than that. And I was like, the hell's
This is
going
nothing.
on? Yeah.
You can make
Like,
way more.
This is, if they made this much money, they would jump off a roof. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah. So I was like, okay, it's time for me to level up. And I think one of the best ways to level up is to surround yourself with people that are making more than you, that are not just making more, but that are doing bigger things. So that's kind of what I started doing. I started to surround myself with people. Like I used to go to events and you see people that are spending, when I heard someone was spending like 20 grand a day, I was like, you're spending $20,000 a day. And I was spending at that point, maybe like $1,000 a day on ads. I was like 20 grand.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah, it's a lot.
And then I met someone who was spending 50 grand a day. And then I heard in a podcast, someone was spending 120 grand a day. I was like,
That's unbelievable.
where am I even, like, what am I doing? And that's when I started to just kind of level up. And that's why, like, I've kind of gone to that point where I try to surround myself with people that are trying to do big things or are doing very big things. And then when you do that, you kind of get to that point where you're like, this is my baseline. You know, you're making like whatever, 50 grand a month, 70 grand a month, 100 grand a month. Then you kind of get into that where everyone around you is doing that. And that's kind of your new baseline. And you know how to get there because you've gone there, you know, or if you don't know how to get there, you figure it out because your baseline is up here. You're uncomfortable in this area. You kind of know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Right?
get it.
So I was very comfortable at a certain point, like I said, making 8 grand a month. I made that for a very long time until I started to level up.
Yeah, you that's what I'm saying. Like, you started to, you got introduced to a life where that much money was actually way more easier to get than you thought.
I realized it was out there for me to get. I just
Yeah.
wasn't doing big enough things to get it.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a there's a story that Tom Bilyeu says. He has an interesting podcast, and it's a common story. So he started a company called Quest Nutrition. You might have heard of it. Like, we actually like some of their products. So he tells a story about when he was expanding the company. It was in like South Central LA, like sort of like in a more difficult, called the ghetto if you want, area. And so he has this thesis of like people have a frame of reference problem. This isn't like an intelligence thing. There's a lot of other reasons, but like it seems like people have a issue with frame of reference, and their version of the Matrix just is they play small, so to speak. And so he has this story where on one day or this one week, he's like aggressively interviewing like hundreds and hundreds of people. Like they're aggressively building. Like they built a new factory. Like we're hiring. Like they went from like I don't know, a couple hundred, let's say a few hundred, almost maybe 1,000 to like 3,000 employees. Like big hire, and tells a story about like after like several days of doing interviews for people who work on the floor, like not necessarily like C-level or like CEO type stuff, like more just we're working. And in every interview, he'd ask them, what to you is like a big amount of money? Like now I've made it. Like why are you doing this? Like he wanted to kind of get an understanding of like their goals and their outside and like, what are you working towards? Like something like that. And he tells a story that every single person that came in, all of them said $1 million. Like as like, what would you do if you had the most money? What's the most money you can imagine? And every one of them said $1 million. And so he tells a story that and this is the part that he's now telling. He's like, now I come back into my boardroom. Called me and I was like, and you know, I thought it was a practical joke at first. He's like, did you guys tell them, like, did you screen them all to say when you come in, say $1 million for the thing? Only to find out later, people are like, we have no idea what you're talking about. Like, this is a pure coincidence. He starts realizing, like, based on your zip code, which is actually the number one determinant of your financial success and outlook and sort of like your wealth generation capacity is your zip code. Very interestingly.
Really?
Very interestingly.
I didn't know that.
Neither did I. And so he says, like, you know, what happens is, to your credit, the people you have around you end up being this echo chamber, either in a positive direction or in a negative one. It doesn't have to be positive or negative, but just to look at it as, you know, people feel like, you know, I'm always going to live in debt. It's me end to end. And they can't think bigger than the life they've seen because the people that have been surrounded by around them, whether on purpose or by accident, like just my neighbors or the people I chose to make friends with, like one way or another, they're all also living with the frame of reference, like, oh my God, like buy a lottery ticket because if you win $3,000, like that's going to change lives. And for somebody who believes, you know, $20 a day is a lot of money, right? That's a big, and so anyways, the frame of reference thing I thought was very fascinating because it's really just, because I'm trying to help him actually answer the question, because I think it's a hard question to answer what you asked, in saying it's so relative. It's like, what does a lot mean? How do you define a lot at this point? You know,
I guess to even put it one step further, the beauty of it is that even if you're in one of those zip codes that might relatively be used to having less money, it's not that hard nowadays to surround yourself with people that could inspire you to be making more. Even just listening to podcasts. That helped me a lot.
That's what I do. Yeah.
Exactly. That helped me so much.
Literally what he does.
Yeah. It's one of the easiest ways to do it. If you can, going to events and just literally meeting people, shaking hands. That's what I did. I met some amazing people just by going to internet marketing events. And that's kind of what set me on this new path of, okay, and I have to start making a lot more because I'm obviously doing nothing. You know, so the fact that you have that choice and everyone can do it,
I know.
It just depends. Are you going to do it? Or are you just going to, you know, listen to Lil Wayne and Drake all the time, which is fine. I love Lil Wayne and Drake. But you got to have some of that personal development time too. Yeah. That's 100%. One of the best ways to spend your time, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting that you have that mindset, honestly, because a lot of people will go through life and they'll experience the same thing you did. Sometimes it's heartbreak, sometimes it's business fuck ups, sometimes whatever. So I don't think that people actually get wisdom just through the pure experience of life. It's actually just did you reflect on what happened? Did you actually even understand what went on here? Like, why did this even go on, right? And I didn't live my life that way for a long time, but it sounds like after living in your car, which is obviously I want to acknowledge you for that. That's, first of all, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, of course.
It's not something, excuse me, that we hear. We hear quite a bit of honesty on the show, but that's like a story I just haven't heard, and that's. I'm just trying to put myself in that position. That just sounds. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I would have made it honestly had the roles been reversed. So I really commend you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I say that to say on the back of like I really acknowledge and appreciate people who have reflected on the difficulties that got him here and then actually made different decisions because of it. Like, so to get a different result. I like that, and that's really it, right? Like, you know, you keep getting yourself in the same situation. If you just don't make a different decision the next time, you get the same exact outcome. And I feel like I see that so much, right?
And you know, like, just to kind of put it even one step further, is that the entire time I was doing that, I always thought it was something I actually heard at a Tony Robbins event, something I just seen on YouTube. And he was saying, when you're going through the really tough times, just keep in mind, this is going to make your story so much better when you make it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
so true, man.
So I was literally there in my car. I had a sleeping bag because it was cold. This is like a cold time of year. And I was like, I'm going to make it. You know, this is just like this is a speed bump, a good lesson. But
Big lesson, man.
once you're at the bottom, yeah, there's not much more to go. I mean,
No.
at least I had a car. you
What
know.
kind
I
of car
know,
was it
right?
actually? I was going to ask you. What kind of?
Well, I was making decent money at the time, before I had with that investment company. So it was a BMW. It was a 3 Series 2008 coupe. Not a very big car.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
But I was
tight.
I was making good money at the investment stuff. That's why I had 20 grand saved up
Right.
after spending on all the stuff. But yeah, man, like
Still can't pay for rent. What are you going
it
to do?
was, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I couldn't go back to the investment stuff. Like it turned out to just, like, I don't really want to get into it, but it turned out to not be what I thought it was.
For sure.
And the people that ran it turned out to not necessarily be as honest as I had
Hoped.
believed,
Or believed, yeah.
So there's no option to go back. I basically put all my eggs in the basket of making money online. It didn't work. But what I always wanted was a lifestyle.
Right.
And that's why for me, once I got that lifestyle, like doing this now, I don't take it for granted. Like it's the best, man. Like I could travel anywhere. I could work from anywhere. I don't have to work for like weeks,
Right.
months, maybe if I don't want to, So I'm really fortunate because of that.
Fuck yeah.
That's
You know?
that's our whole ethos
I like
too,
that.
actually. Like
Mm.
we had a conversation yesterday with somebody that we're trying to make a deal with, and in the conversation we brought up like, look, like we're only doing this because of lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't subscribe to the idea that like my best future wealthy life is like a future state. I feel like it's like I can do that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Both from
Absolutely.
I can do that right now. Both from like I can get to like the Eastern philosophy of like getting rid of the desire in a sense, like they come from this like satisfaction is brought on by the lack of desire in the world, and there's no and whatever. The Western side is creativity is actually the source of like desire and like whatever. So, but yeah, I just want to. I think it's interesting to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. But all the hard work, it does pay off, man. I gotta be honest. Like going through that, it definitely a lot of people don't do it. If it was easy, everyone would do it. That old cliche, it is true.
Yeah.
Know, so if you guys just want to keep doing it, man, like this is the way to do it. Find something, get very specific and focused on it. Like me, I'm only good at one thing, but this one thing helped me do everything I want to do.
Yeah.
Obviously
100%.
you're super focused on comedy and,
Yeah.
Building your personal brand.
Good
Dude,
double down.
100%, man. That's what I would do if that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
If I was into comedy, that's what I'd be doing, not Facebook ads.
Sure. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
You can eventually
but
do all of it when you have more money, but
exactly.
time and
Or
resources.
honestly, what you do is you hire it out.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
you don't do anything.
Exactly. That's
You just
the
have a
best part.
team.
That's
right?
what the freedom is, though.
Exactly.
It's like you build all this shit up, you work hard, and you go through the struggles, and you eat shit for all these years in order to get those things,
Mhm.
and then it becomes fucking so much freeing.
We love like the delaying gratification piece too.
Mhm.
Something that I struggle with my whole life, and just like implementing it here is really great because like you build up value. You're building up value, and it's like cool, man. Like I'll live here, it's all good. Like it's a little bit more humble. Like I'll put all the money that I have into like, and our ethos is first physical health, like food, exercise, mental health, like whatever resources we need, whether it's
Mhm.
literally just food or weights or equipment or I don't know, whatever it is, and like just putting it back into the machine that drives the thing forward.
Hell yeah.
It was such a simple switch, honestly,
Mhm.
but that one simple switch, like had every consideration of like what I would have done in my day or my time or my sort of effort, those all moved. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I can actually delay this because I don't actually need to live or drive this or be here or do that thing. Like, first of all at the same time, and certainly not at this moment.
Mhm.
And just delaying that and being like, hey man, like we can have the life that we want now. And all throughout this process, it doesn't have to be down the line. Then we'll be happy, wealthy, comfortable, whatever you want, whatever word, right?
Exactly.
I think that's probably something you talk about. I suspect you probably will talk about.
Mm.
Like on
I
stage.
agree. I agree 100% with what you're saying.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, we're in a time where you don't have to go get that job if you don't want that job. If you're not happy, this is. I mean, okay, look. If you're not happy, but you're living in like the 1900s or the 1850s or whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have the internet.
There's nothing else.
You
Different
pretty much
life,
have
man.
to like eat actual shit. Like it is. You don't
Not
have any
just
options.
Gary Vee
Yeah.
saying eating
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
That's
But
very Gary Vee of you.
Right now, I mean, dude, you could sell things you don't even have. Like, there's so many. I mean to say like the drop shipping way, where you literally find products online, you put it on your store, you sell it, you buy it from this
That's it.
place, you send it there. Like, there's so many ways to make money. That's just one thing. If you really wanted to find something you're good at, make a profile on Upwork.com and just literally consult, work,
Yeah.
even as comedians could do that too. You could literally just go and start doing like, I'll write jokes for you for this or for that or whatever it is. Like there's so many ways to make money that if you're literally working a job that you don't like, that's your choice. No one's forcing you to do that. The money is not like you can make more money doing other things.
I think it's just very complacent with and too afraid to take the risk. That's all. That's mostly what it is.
That's what it comes down to. When you're too scared to take that risk, you miss out on so much of the amazing things of life.
Because there's the scarcity thing is there. You're scared that like, if you don't do this, then you're not gonna have any other opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do this now,
Mm-hmm.
and you're worried about other people's judgments and what they're gonna think, and your family this and this friends, and it's just like a whole fucking circle of death that really drives people away from actually following their passions.
But you know what it comes down to? I agree 100% with what you're saying. It's like, what's it gonna cost you? Are you really going to do that job? Or are you going to work jobs that you don't like until you're 60, 65, 70, where you can't even have the energy to enjoy this little retirement that you now have?
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
At some point, the fear of that's actually what scared me so much. The fear of that was so much that I was like, like I got to jump out of the plane, man. I got to jump out of the plane and do my thing.
Like literally too. Yeah. Respect.
Yeah.
That's that's a great way to look at it. That's the same exact thing that happened to me. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna fucking be in an office, fucking treating patients, like, cause I was doing like kinesiology or I was gonna become a gym teacher. I was like, no way I'm fucking have to wake up at this certain time every time, go to some establishment I don't really care about, and try to teach someone things I don't really know about, and for that many years and be happy about it. So I'm like, it just made it easy in my mind. I'm like,
absolutely, man, that's the best.
There's no way.
And you're good at what you do, but obviously, like I would assume, I didn't know you back then, but I assume you've gotten a lot better because you really honed in on that skill.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was straight ass at the beginning.
But you had something that you
got to
like doing.
start somewhere.
Exactly.
Because you got to be shit in order to get better.
Exactly.
And you got to,
like you said, you got to start.
You got to start. That's it. It's as simple as that. As cliche as that sounds, you just got to start.
Absolutely.
That's all it is.
It's actually that simple.
I know. It's literally
people
all
could
it
really
is.
capture that. They would, like, myself included, by the way. I'm just 1 year removed from that idea, but you just capture that. Just start.
Yeah.
What information you will get just by doing a push-up. Like Gary Vee, honestly, we love Gary Vee, so I use this example all the time. He's just
Gary?
TikTok?
You could do it too.
No, I can't.
Yeah, you did it great. TikTok?
We actually have here, I'll play the sound off it. Look.
TikTok?
Dude, that's so good.
It's like a sound bite that we have saved here. Look.
Is that you doing
TikTok?
Bro, I can't tell if it's you or Gary Vee. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
Was I saying the Gary Vee
push-up thing?
Oh yeah, so I love that example, right? Because it's so simple, but it's like one sentence. You can't read about push-ups. I just really took that to heart, and I was like,
it's true.
It's so simple, but so true. It's just like you can't read about a push-up.
I've never heard that before, actually.
I mean, and I love it, right? When you really consider like the magnitude of what that sentence is carrying, it's like, it's just even my best attempt to try to explain to you, let's just say you've never done a push-up. Even my best attempt to try to explain to you, it'll never be the real thing. You'll never know what it's like to have to struggle to, like, in this case, push yourself up with two hands. But I find that fascinating that it's that easy. Or maybe it's not that easy. It's that simple. But acting on it perhaps is not so easy.
Yeah. That's fast.
And you kind of got there by, I was going to say desperation. I don't know if that's right. Like, to use that word. But like you kind of got there almost like you got pushed to do because you're like, well, I live in my car, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, is that fair, do you think?
I mean, I desperately did not want to have a job. Like,
okay,
to
or
be
that,
honest.
yeah.
Like I was very desperate to live the life that I wanted to live, that nothing was going to get in my way. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, I desperately did get a job as a telemarketer. I worked there for 3 months. I saved enough. I stopped. I jumped into online marketing again, but like at some point I had to get a job. I mean, I was going to live in my car the whole time, but yeah. So, I mean, like I was desperate to just go and do my thing and live the kind of life that I want to live. And that's why I tried online marketing again.
That's exactly it though, right? Your desperation of wanting freedom, which is what it sounds like. Cause that's actually
100%.
I don't know if I actually even said it, but our ethos is just freedom first.
I love that. I love that.
And like, I'm actually sometimes maybe confused. People might think it's aggressive. It's just really passionate when I tell people this, not you, but like in meetings that we have, I'm like, listen, like I'm exactly 0% interested in anything you have to think about what we're doing. I do all of these sacrifices. I live like this. I eat like this. All the things that we're doing, which I'm happy to do, I do because I have no interest in anyone telling me how to do the thing we love to do.
Yeah.
And so I'll continue. If this doesn't work out, it's cool, man. I'll go back to my parents' house. I'll keep chugging along. I know it's going to come,
Yeah,
right?
one day.
So freedom to you guys is you just have the autonomy to make whatever kind of content, and even if
That's
you're
it.
partnering up with someone, you don't want to have to get their approval on it. You just
Yeah.
go.
I don't
They
care.
trust you and you go.
100%.
I don't
100%
care
of
at
the way.
all.
Yeah.
And I tell them flat to their face, not to,
Good.
again, not to be aggressive. I'm just saying, look, like you want me to be like
The best.
our whole team, right? Like us to be the best we want to be. Just get out of our way
Yeah.
nicely. Like
Mhm.
I'm saying that, and
Yeah.
that's just, we are, I don't know if I had to word it differently. Like we most care about just doing cool shit with our friends at the very base of it. That's all I actually really care about is like, can me, you, and our buddies and whoever we're working with comfortably with bellies filled, just do work together and,
That's funny
sleep
that-
not outside.
Yeah.
And enjoy
See what I'm
enjoy
saying?
every
Enjoy
single
every
day.
single part of it. Yeah.
Because I want to be able to take to your credit, right? I want to be able to take like a 1 month and say, yo, we're going on a retreat for the team, vacation everywhere together, or I don't know, take a month off, or
It's the best.
But
Oh,
have
it's-
all this content left over, you know?
Don't take a month
Right.
off TikToks though.
Yeah.
not a month off.
Save
TikTok,
it.
yeah.
save
always.
it. Yeah.
Draft
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, just saying like the ethos of freedom for us. Same to you. Like even growing up, and I don't know about him so much. Some examples, but like I pretty much made every concession I could to work for myself, even at a young age.
Love that, man.
It was just
That's
in
the
it was
best.
just in my body. Even I don't know how I went to university. Honestly, that was a very interesting experience because it's so. They don't box you in like in your mind, but like there are rules and
Yeah.
credits and minimums
felt
and
boxed in.
regulations and requirements,
Mhm.
blah blah. And I was like, I don't know, man. This isn't really my vibe. Like I want to go make an event or like.
Did you ever have a job?
Like I worked I
Like
don't
after
know.
university, I mean?
No, like I
Good for you.
So I DJ'd, and then now I do like social media management, like because it's so easy to
No,
teach
that's your
yourself
own
skills.
that's your own thing, man. That's your own thing.
Yeah, and now I applied life experience and like industry experience that I had just in a different sector of that particular entertainment world
Mhm.
to his brand and bring that experience of like I don't know contracts and deals and value and things that like how to not get fucked over by not
Yeah.
getting a deposit like little like it'd take forever to explain,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Pretty clutch.
Yeah,
It's pretty clutch.
absolutely.
I
I mean, like,
Try.
if he weren't around, I'd be fucked in terms of the branding.
Well,
Like content wise,
yeah.
I'd still go and pump shit out.
Mhm.
Obviously, I think I'd be fine. But like, in terms of like the vision and like the bigger picture stuff, I don't see it.
that's
as
the
much
best. You want to have someone that you trust
that's
on
what
your
I'm saying.
team,
Exactly.
right? Very
yeah.
close to you, which is like, brothers.
yeah.
That's like the
Yeah,
best.
yeah, I know. Very, very, definitely very lucky.
Do you have
that
any
we
siblings?
this.
I have one younger sister.
What does she do?
She's in Connecticut at Yale doing a pharmacy residency. So she wants to work as a pharmacist, but in hospitals, specifically psychiatry.
Okay.
So yeah, she's like super passionate about that, which is great.
Great. We need people like her to really like what they do,
That's the thing.
Yeah,
She's like super passionate about that. I'm like, you can make more money if you're just doing like regular pharmacy. She's like, I don't care. I want to like do this.
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
"All right,
That's
as
good,
long as
though.
you're happy."
I know.
No, really though, yeah.
That's the most
Mhm.
important
The
thing,
happy
though.
part, yeah.
Exactly.
It's like if you actually like fucking civil engineering, by all means, do
Hell
it.
yeah. Hell yeah.
But like, yeah, it shouldn't be about the money ever.
Mhm.
The money will come.
For me, it was always about what kind of lifestyle I wanted. So I knew I didn't want to get a job, but if I was going to do civil engineering, I looked into it. I was like, how long until I can own my own civil engineering consulting company or whatever?
Mm.
And I was like, that's too long for me.
Mm.
I don't want to toil 30 years of my life
Yeah.
so I can have gray hair and people respect me and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And
suck
I'm
up
not
all
saying
the
that's how you
shit.
have to do it. I'm sure you can own that kind of company earlier, but I was like, you know what? That's just not for me.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always been about the lifestyle. I want to make a certain amount of money to have that lifestyle. But I mean, what I'm doing kind of goes hand in hand with what I want to do, like on a day-to-day basis. My sister, same thing for her. I mean, she's still going to be like very comfortable. But like you guys are saying, as long as you're happy doing it, that's what's most important to me and to my family and everything like that. So
That's what keeps us going, right? When
Mhm.
we don't make a deal or we don't get an offer something or whatever, it's just like, but I'm good. Like I don't feel like I'm coming from a place of lack or
Exactly.
scarcity. I'm like, I feel like I have everything around me. And most importantly, like the people I actually give a shit about are still alive.
dude, 100%.
When you come from there, right? Like
100%.
it's like I really wanted to be able to say it at later points when after I heard the Gary Vee thing. He's just like, I can't lose because I don't feel like I'm coming from a place that needs something to fill me. how can I feel like I'm in lack when I don't, you see what, you get what I'm saying? Like,
100%.
and I knew like it's something within me. I'm not sophisticated enough then to say it. I'm saying this as me today.
Mhm.
I knew something in me. I was like, this is the guy, pay attention, try to embody what they just said. Like take on that. How do I get that feeling of like, I don't care if I lose. Like I'm not afraid of going to zero type of idea. And it's not fearless. It's not just fearlessness. It's not just courage. It is those things too, but I don't feel like I'm losing. I feel like I'm just happy to be here, like Earth. And just I'm still alive too, right? 100%. Like on top of that, you know, like how can I lose when I'm coming from there?
Agreed, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have so much to be grateful for. Just the fact that our heart beats by itself, in and of itself, means that we're living. I saw this meme. I was like, it was like, technically, you only get 2 minutes to live. It just restarts if you breathe. You know, if you don't. And I was like, hey, you know what? Thankfully, thankfully that just works automatically. You know, like there's
how cool is that, right?
Yeah, it's just there's so much to be grateful for, and like every time you breathe, there's oxygen in the air. You know, there's like so many things.
So random how it works.
Yeah, like
clean water.
What you said though, it means a lot. Like it resonates with me because it's like if you know what you bring to the table and you know your value, you don't want to settle or kind of downgrade yourself to fit someone else's box. You know what I'm saying? Like someone might want to have more like control about what you guys are doing, whatever, but you might make a bit of money, but you'll sacrifice kind of who you are and how you feel about yourself. And that's like the biggest thing.
For sure.
You know, like if someone had like a scam, they wanted me to advertise on Facebook, I would not, they can offer me 10 grand, 20 grand, whatever. But if it's literally something that's going to hurt people or literally scam people out of money, health, whatever it is, you know, it's just not who I am.
Yeah.
You know, and some other people might want it. It's just not for me, you know, because I won't feel good about it. You know,
morally it's just fucked.
Yeah. And I would say it's not the same thing for what you guys are doing. Like they're not probably giving you a scam. They just want more control. But at the end of the day, it's how you feel about yourself, you know, and you got to be very, very comfortable because this is what you guys want to do. It's not a fly-by thing.
No. And we're lucky that not only we have each other, but we have a team of like very talented misfits. We call them.
I love it.
No, but when we have those people around, like the check on the perspective is really powerful. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the dynamic itself is very important. Like you need to have different types of personalities too around. So you have different perspectives and different mindset. You know, you can come together that way as a whole.
That's the best.
And so, like, because like the echo chamber thing he always mentions is also not the best either. You know,
if everyone thinks the same,
then you're fucked.
Yeah, you might as well not have someone around you.
Yeah, but
everyone's gonna echo what you're saying.
That's
why
to
have yes men.
Exactly. That's why me and him work so well because I think completely different than he does.
Perfect.
That's why there's banter and there's bickering. But we actually get somewhere because we were at the end of it we've talked it out, we've realized what's actually true and what's right, and then you know
it's like there's banter and there's bickering, but the main thing is that there's respect between you guys. You know he's got good ideas.
Yeah,
he's got good ideas.
Yeah,
and so you're like, okay, if this person who I do trust and I think has some great ideas disagrees with me, maybe my thinking is wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's one thing.
It's the hardest thing.
That's one thing that pisses me off about nowadays, because then you got all these people nowadays that. It's their way or the highway.
Yeah.
You know, you look at politics, there's this or there's that. I'm right, you're wrong. There's no nuance. There's no like, no, but like, I'm not, you know, like there's so many other factors to this thing.
Yeah, so many.
It's not black and white.
It's not black and white.
And like, that's one thing is that people don't realize, like, you guys obviously have your connection and you guys, obviously you're brothers, but at the same time, like, you guys respect each other. So, you know, if he's saying something different, if Omid doesn't agree with what you're saying, you want to listen, kind of understand his perspective.
Yeah.
That does not exist
in the real world.
It's so frustrating to me because it's like you don't look at all points of view and make a decision. You're only looking at one thing.
And they're sucked into that one side, and they think that they're not even willing to hear the other side.
And to push it even further, have you seen The Social Dilemma, that documentary?
Yeah.
Dude,
fucked up.
Dude, it is so true. If I watch one thing about with Fox, if I watch one YouTube video with Fox, the next thing is all about how Biden's the worst. If I watch one thing about CNN, they're still talking about how Trump is the worst. Like and then you watch it and you're like, you can easily go down the rabbit hole and not at all understand the other perspective.
No, exactly.
You know? And that bothers me because then there's people will call like us racist when we just say something that I might not have.
That I don't see as racist.
Yeah.
Or it's not, at all. Yeah.
Like I'm sure people have said that, but like the accents, like we were talking about before, but like that's not. It's just it's funny. It's comedy. Just enjoy it. You know,
they don't have the same experience as I do growing up. maybe it's racist to them, but to me it's not racist. But who's right? Who's wrong? It doesn't matter.
Can't they look at it from your point of view? Can't they kind of look and see? You know,
I guess I say the same thing about me too. That's like, but I do see the other side. But I'm like, but you can't still shit on me. But then again, you can because you just don't know any better.
Exactly.
So there's so many different aspects to it that
Exactly.
it's like that's why you're talking about like the Fox News and CNN example. That's how I don't know. That's how I just don't. It's hard to trust anything now. It's like
100%.
or just not now. Just since a kid, I've always been skeptical of everything. I'm like, what? Like, there's no way. I don't know. We should be doing this, or like, why the fuck do we? I don't know. We have breakfast in the morning. Like, why the fuck is that? It's all marketed to you, right? All this shit. There's so many things that's just wrong, and people are just okay with it. And they're just like, whatever. No, they said this, so it must be right. Or they said this, it must be right. Oh, we have to go to this place to find out about this. But I'm like, no, there's all this other shit you could do.
100%. And you know what's so funny? They're like, people that listen to CNN say Fox is always lying. People that listen to Fox say CNN is always lying. And you're like, everyone is always
Everyone's
lying.
lying about something.
Everyone has an agenda. There's no like, these are private companies
Yeah,
that make money.
Yeah.
Look, I believe in private companies. Like, I'm much more capitalistic, you know, like I like the idea of being able to work and make money and build my own stuff. Okay. But you also have to realize it is a capitalist society. Fox News is a private company. Whoever owns CNN, I don't know who it is, but you know, these guys they have their own agenda. If you're going to trust them, why would you trust them? They obviously have some kind of agenda that they're trying to push on you. Exactly. I mean, if you're going to a salesperson's trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
No, it's so simple.
Yeah, they're trying to sell you
Exactly.
something, and you have the decision whether to agree with their points or to not agree with their points. But to believe everything that they're
insane.
saying when you know they want to
Exactly.
sell you something is like, what?
Yeah, that's why I get mad when people are like, no, but like they said on the news that this is okay or
Oh
this
my
is
God.
or this is wrong. I'm like, yeah, but you fully trust what they're saying? There's no way they're being truthful. Why do you think they're in your best interest? There's no way that's fucking possible. So I think there's more people in the world like that than not, which is the scary part.
100%.
Yeah.
And different countries like Canada, I have my own beef with Canada. Like, Canadians are very, very scared, I find. So I was in Florida for a long time during COVID and stuff like that. And I saw that perspective and I saw Canada. And I was like, you know, Canadians, it's almost kind of to a point where it's kind of illogical in my opinion. Like, I'll see someone walking their dog by themselves in the middle of the field with a mask on. No one's going to give you COVID. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in Florida, that doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
Florida is the polar opposite, just obviously. But I also spent a lot of time in New York, you know, and in New York,
Same as Toronto.
it's kind of in the middle, actually.
Oh, really?
You know, outside, people aren't really wearing masks as much. Some are, but a lot aren't. In Canada, 95% people wearing masks outside.
I know. This is
Very
weird.
confusing. The outside one I've never understood. I'm like,
Because it doesn't make sense, but people are scared.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was gonna
it's
say-
fear mongering.
they're just like, think about what the media has done. Like, you're afraid of air in the middle of a field. Like, come
By
on,
yourself.
like, what are we doing here? Like, just look around. Like, just like, you know, try to stop and be, what am I doing? Like, I
Yeah, I
don't
know. I don't
like the ones in the cars, and there's nobody else in the
Oh
car.
my god, that pisses me off.
What are you
the most,
doing?
bro?
Yeah, give me a break.
What are you
Come
doing?
on, man.
Come on.
Take it
doing?
off. You could. I don't know, man. Like even if you wear the mask, you're gonna get it either way. It's not
The
gonna
mask doesn't-
completely
the
stop
mask-
it.
The mask doesn't really help that much.
I know.
You know, the reality is, and also like these cloth things people
they
put on
do
their
nothing.
face, it literally is just decoration.
Plus, you're
make you more
reusing it,
comfortable.
and
Yeah,
that
I
then
know.
in itself can get its own bacteria, its own dirt. It's like, well, you change your underwear, right?
Same, yeah.
How is this
exactly.
any different?
Dude,
That's a good point.
it's like, yeah. So, I mean, I find Canadians are just more scared. Canadians don't like fighting for their rights. And like, I don't want to get into all of that stuff, but I know Americans, a lot of them do fight for their rights. And that's why I
They're
very
very vocal.
yeah. And I'm
on board with that.
dude, like I'm all about freedom. We already discussed that. So
It's
like,
the number one thing we care about.
yeah, I'm about freedom of how to make money. I'm about freedom of health. I'm about freedom of all that kind of stuff.
All of it.
And like, I don't know, man, as far as Canada's going with all these like passports and all that kind of stuff, it's just such a turnoff for me. And it's also, in my opinion, not a good sign for where things are headed.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So I'm that's another reason why I'm looking to move into the States.
Same with
you know,
us.
it's going to be, oh yeah, you guys are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
Definitely.
interested in it. Like,
Mhm.
you know, I also share your views, especially with like the current political landscape, let's call it.
Mhm.
It's just like it's almost like a pure statistics play in that there's 10 times more people there. And our business, we're in the attention business.
Need more attention.
100%.
I love Toronto. I have every intention of, I'm not leaving to come back, but let's say we are leaving for a little while. I have every intention of coming back, staying here, building it out. Like nothing would make me happier than to take, not to take Joe Rogan's idea, but to take his lead and his influence of like, he's trying to build out Austin as this new comedy hub, let's call it. Maybe we'll do the same thing here. Why not us? And why not, if not us, then who?
Yeah.
And if not now, then when?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Exactly.
So you guys want to start doing your own thing in Toronto, like your own hub, or do you want to go there first, build a name, and then come back to Toronto?
Bit of both. I'd say.
I would say, it is. I mean, it's obviously simplistic, but yes, like go there, build up a little bit, and then come back and.
Eventually, it's like down
That's
the road. Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I'm all about like taking jumps and taking risks and all that. And I know,
Yeah,
it's
we
a
know
risk.
that literally.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I jump out of plane.
Intended.
Like,
Yeah, we jump.
I jump out of plane. I'm learning how to be a pilot. Like,
Yeah.
I like doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
But if I was a comedian, I would not think twice.
Yeah. No, I know.
You got
for sure.
way more events, way more eyeball, 10 times number of eyeballs
Yeah.
in a smaller density. You are good to go in America.
Literally, just in
can-
California,
Yeah.
there's more
dude,
people than
bro.
in Canada.
Yeah,
that was actually
there's
literally
40 million in
I know.
California.
That's literally the stat I was about to say.
40 million. And you can, California, New York, you go all around, go to Florida, Texas. You could
So a
tell
lot of
different jokes,
proper
different
shit.
demographics, bro. You
Man,
are
there's so many
good.
different places that
Yeah.
love comedy, man.
Mhm.
In
Like
the States,
college towns.
college
they
towns, yeah.
love comedy, dude.
Bro, Seattle's a really good place too.
Yeah.
Like
I've never
it's,
been
like,
there.
underrated. Yeah,
Dude, you
Yeah.
could spend a lifetime just doing comedy in New York.
Literally.
lifetime.
A lifetime.
Literally.
But it's hard. It's a hard fucking grind. But if you get to the top, bro, you're set.
Dude,
You could.
It's a hard
It's
grind,
over.
but you just
Yeah.
got to believe in yourself, man.
Yeah, you
Like at the
gotta,
end of the day, that's comedy.
That's
Like I
the
already
hub,
told you,
man.
man,
Yeah.
is a very hard grind. I find, like I said, skydiving I find easier than going and speak. I'm comfortable speaking in front of people,
But to make them
but
laugh,
to make me
yeah,
say jokes
it's
Yeah.
different. It's
and make
different.
them laugh,
It's different, bro.
dude, that's a different kind of
is.
thing.
It's
It's actually interesting. Like you mentioned Jerry Seinfeld earlier. He's pretty famous for doing a bit where he talks about people's number one fear is public speaking, even more than death. And he has a little joke saying there's people who would rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy if they're at a
Mhm.
funeral, like something like that.
yeah,
But in the back of that, it's what I've started to understand because I had to try to attempt to explain why the stand-up comedy is more valuable than anything else or like whatever else that's in comparison. And I said, to add to your point, it's not just public speaking. There's also the added element of entertainment, right? Like it's not just get up there and say words coherently that people understand. It's also how do I entice a feeling inside them? That's a hard fucking question to
Mhm.
answer, right? And that's why even me, I'm as close to a comedian as anybody could possibly be, right?
Mhm.
I still can't even like in my own brain just play out the imagination of getting on a stage and trying to tell jokes
Mhm.
without it being like absolutely horrific. And I've done performing arts in the past. I've DJ'd. I've been in front of 100 to 10,000 people, and it's not the looking at me part that I'm, like scared about. But I never had to speak. I didn't have to play my own music. I just read other people's, right? But like saying my own words and having to be entertaining, just like through the process of trying to understand and answer the question, like what is our value? What are we actually selling to people? What's our blah blah blah? And I came across the comedy thing. And I was like, man, like it is really interesting how people would rather die. It sounds like
If you gave someone a
Speak
gun or told them
public.
to speak in public, then they like kill
Yeah.
them. Like like it's
something
crazy.
crazy like that. Yeah.
So
That's
like,
why it's a rare thing too. That it's like it's good to capitalize on it if you're actually good at it,
hell yeah, man.
especially
And
with
you
all
have
this other resources.
You have a following too. Like
know,
it's
it
not
helps.
as hard for you as it is for other people that don't
100%.
have anything.
Yeah, trust me. I've been there. I know how it was when I didn't have any following
Mhm.
and how fucking hard it was.
Hell yeah.
And I'm like, I never want to go back to that.
Do you have like, do you ever get like opportunities to go? I guess you do because you've already been to like El Paso to do comedy
for
there.
sure.
So.
I mean, well, that one of my favorite stories to tell actually, in terms of just the message of being proactive,
Mhm.
is that Kayvon, he's a comedian from LA.
Sounds really familiar.
He's half Persian, half white.
Okay.
From Vegas. He's from Vegas. But like he was mainly performing in LA for a while. He was doing like a mini tour and he was coming to Toronto. And I was following his stuff for like a couple of years at that point. Like, I was just starting to like get into like more of the stand up scene and like finding out who's good.
How long ago was this?
This was like 3 years ago, just before the pandemic, pretty much.
Okay.
And I saw that he was coming to town, and that was actually when I started to build a little bit of a following. I was almost at like, I think I was at like 7K at the time. like around there,
On,
just like
like,
5 to
Instagram?
7, just Instagram. Yeah,
Okay,
and I
nice.
was like, I built like a few thousand in a couple of months. And I saw that he was coming to town, and I don't know. I'm one to just be confident in my confidence of just trying shit and failing,
Perfect.
and so I'm comfortable doing bad. Pretty much is what I'm trying to say.
I guess as a stand-up comedian, you
Yeah,
have
you
to
have
be.
to, yeah.
Yeah,
which
okay.
which actually helped me with my confidence with girls too, in a way, because it's kind of the same shit. Like at the same time, I was doing like little like YouTube pranks or like whatever, and I just like have to approach girls or just like in general people.
I know you do like the interviews now.
Interviews,
and stuff
yeah,
like
it's
that.
like it's
Probably
like
way more
nothing. It's like
comfortable now.
fucking it's like
Piece of cake
It's like
now.
a piece of cake, right?
Uh-huh.
Because it's like you build up the confidence of like it's just another person, and they're actually probably more nervous than you are. Right. So once I realized that, it just became so easy to just calm down and realize they're just another human. So in this case, when the Kayvon guy, the comedian, he was coming to town, I was like, man, like what's gonna happen if I reach out to him and DM him on Instagram? Because now you can do that. Before, without social media, how the fuck am I gonna reach this guy?
What a time to be alive, dude.
It's the best.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the
So,
best.
I just kind of hit me like a random. I didn't even think about it. Just kind of like intuitively. I just was like, fuck it, I'm just going to message him. And I messaged him with like, oh, hey, I'm a big fan. Like, I love your shit, blah, blah, blah. I'm a comedian from Toronto. I saw you were coming here. If you need a host or an opener, I'd love to do it. And I can send you a stand-up clip if you want.
Perfect.
He's like, yeah, send me a clip. So he got back to me. That's the first step. And then I sent him the clip and he saw it. And he's like, yeah, you're funny, man. Yeah, come open for me for the show. And it was a
Amazing.
small show, but nonetheless,
Was that your first time doing? No, that wasn't your first time.
No, that was
doing
my first time
stand-up.
stand-up. But I was only like 2-3 years in at this point,
Okay.
right? And it was my first time opening for somebody though that like isn't actually notable, that people actually know on a smaller scale. Maybe not like Kevin Hart, but still nonetheless, you know, fairly decent level comedian in the States. And I did it. I opened for him, and then he liked me more. And then he's like, "Yeah, come on tour with me now." So it's like the whole point of all this is like, you know, this shit can just happen by just fucking doing shit and just trying it. And like you never know who you're gonna meet, right? And then through him, I met some other cool comedians down there that now when I go back, I can do more with them. And like it's just kind of like it's a snowball effect.
That's it.
The more
That's
you
it.
just more proactiveness. I don't even know if that's a word, but
Proactivity.
And you know what's
Productivity, I know.
so funny is that action of just doing sending a DM is so simple, but some people are so scared to do it, but it could change your entire life, change your entire trajectory of where you're going.
man, that
Yet they'll write a hate comment.
yeah.
It's like I'm saying yet they'll write a hate comment, but it's
That's
like, man,
what
do
I'm
something
saying.
good.
Yeah,
Exactly.
literally. Use
Reach
that
out to
time
somebody, yeah.
for something better, right? And all this to say, man, like I from one DM, I fucking like literally fast forward 8 months after, I was on a billboard in Vegas with him,
Jeez,
with that
no
guy.
way.
Yeah, I'm not even
Crazy.
trying to brag. I'm just saying, like,
No, dude, that's
bro,
amazing.
like, how would that happen if I didn't DM this guy?
One
From
DM.
one DM,
Yeah.
literally your thumbs moved for like 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
And you're on a billboard in Vegas.
And I'm not even that good as a comedian, like, yet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And this was only 3 years ago at this point, and I was even worse. So I'm like, think about what happens, man, when you keep going and you get better, and like, there's more opportunities.
That's what I'm saying.
And you're in, you know, with different people from different countries, bro. Like, it's I don't know.
Dude,
it's
I'm
perspective
advocating for you guys
changes.
to go to the States and do this just because of
Yeah.
how many opportunities you're gonna get.
I
Because
know.
yeah,
It's
I mean,
crazy.
as you're going through this, like anything else, you get better. But the more times you get up there and just speak, like if stand up's like kind of where
yeah.
like your avenue to doing what you want to do, you just need to be doing stand up every single night, multiple times a night.
Yeah.
You know, these big comedians, they do like 2-3
All the
shows
time.
a day.
Exactly. That's why I was doing that before the pandemic hit. And
In
then
Canada?
obviously- Yeah, in Canada. Yeah.
Oh,
And
do they have
Toronto's
that many
actually a really good
opportunities too?
scene for comedy. It's one of the
Really?
best actually. In
I've
the
been to
world.
one comedy show here.
Where? Where'd you go?
It was actually in this random park in Toronto, and it was like September 11th or 12th or something like that.
in,
It was,
during
like,
the
very,
pandemic.
very recently.
Oh, was it like started with the C, like something
Oh,
in the
I'm not
park?
gonna remember. If you say, you might. If
Yeah,
you
I
say
know which one it is probably. But what was I saying? Yeah, Toronto's a really good comedy scene. Like for practice, the best way I could put it is Toronto is the best place to it's like a gym for you to like hone your skills and get better, and then you go to the States to actually become famous. That's literally what every comedian has ever done that's come from Canada. They've moved to the States and become famous because Canada doesn't have a star system, so
when
they're
do
not
you
going to make
think?
you famous.
When do you think you'll want to be just going to the States and like leaving Canada to go to the States to become famous?
Well, I mean, any time is fucking good
You're
for
like
me.
ready
if
now,
I
like
could.
good to go.
Yeah, I would go now if we could, but
Okay,
I
good.
don't know, just because of like the timing or the resources or the money.
Yeah.
We don't have that option right now.
Well, I'm asking specifically because I feel like a lot of people, they're like, they get to the point where they get a bit nervous they want to feel like they're 100% ready, and you'll never be 100% ready to go do it.
You don't
So
know.
that's
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
it's not
but
a readiness problem at
No,
all.
it's not a readiness,
It's literally
yeah.
just a bunch of numbers in a bank account just
Yeah,
to pay
just
out
need
to
the
pay
money.
for us to go
Yeah.
and do what we need.
The money in that access.
It's so
That's all it
insane
is.
to me that money is. And I'm not mad about this. I'm just saying like it's like the one thing in the middle of this whole thing is just some numbers digitally on a bank account somewhere. You know,
That's
and
that's
it's
why
like this is like because I suspected that you were probably pro-capitalist given like your history, which I am also like to a very big extent. I have a lot of obviously major issues with it too because I think we could do better. But nonetheless, like
Fair.
I'm pro as well.
Fair.
And so just on that backend, I just think like I'm in love with what happens when you do get that tasteful, satisfying moment of like, oh my God, I don't have to pay, I don't have to worry about bills. It's very simple, right? Like when we talked about freedom earlier, it's like, man, if I could just get to this point, which we will. I'm not saying as like some
Okay.
distant future
No,
thing.
yeah.
Once we get there, like like that level of freedom. Because now I don't have to give my time to a little bit of part-time here to do this side gig and do this. Because maybe I should explain, like the reason we're doing this and we're not taking on, I don't know, I just happen to manage the email account, but I get like, let's say 7 to 10 offers a week.
inquiries. Yeah.
Some inquiries, that's better to say, not offers. Because some people just want they want free shit. They want my time for nothing. And they want everything in return. So not them, but
People
like,
just
let's say
don't
this
get it.
handful of them that are maybe going to be positive or good. We don't want to leverage the audience's attention for random posts that say, hey, buy this and then fill in whatever, or swipe up here to get some percent or off or something. Like, I don't want to leverage the audience by saying, hey, I'm making this amount of money that is undisclosed to you to put this ad in front of your face that isn't a piece of comedy or a piece of content original from this person. And I'm doing this because whatever. I want to get somewhere, buy something, increase my life in some sense. We're just so like I don't know, like we're so strongly convicted ourselves around the idea of like doing this in as pure as possible. And so that's just what's taking more time. Do you get what I'm saying?
Let me ask. You mind if I ask you guys
Of
like
course.
some specific
Yeah.
questions?
Oh, of course, yeah.
What's the dollar amount that you need to be able to go to the States on a monthly basis?
Yeah. In US dollars, because I have to
Sure.
in my mind.
So to do what? Like to be comfortable doing what we want to do?
Well, no, to go to the States.
To go to
Yeah,
to
so
the
you might be
States.
comfortable at $100,000 a month.
Okay.
You'd be very
No, of
comfortable.
course,
But
yeah.
you
Well,
don't need that.
Yeah,
We're talking about where would you, when would you be like, okay, I'm making this much now, I'm going to go to the States
Yeah.
and do this kind of stuff? Because I know that's kind of where you want the next step to be there, right?
Yeah.
So
If we
specifically, what
if
is
we
it?
had somewhere between 12 and 15,000,
a month.
US?
you on the if it's 12 US, if it's 15 or 16, then Canadian. But honestly, like it's around the same. It's not that much higher.
You're saying a month, right?
A month, yeah. And that includes that's for, I guess, 2 people. That would me and him. Obviously, I want the team members to come too. You're just asking me, what's first step, not
I'm talking about
their
first step.
second.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
their
first
second
step.
step. Yeah. With that, I'll be there.
What's that funding for? Food, shelter?
It's literally food, shelter, transportation.
Why do you think it's that much?
Airbnbs are more expensive than paying, let's say, a leased place for a year. Number one, we prioritize.
Would you stay in one? Sorry to cut you off.
No,
but
no,
I'm
please.
specifically.
Of course,
Would you stay in one city the entire time? Would you move around all the time? Like, how would that look?
move around,
Move
and
around.
that's why
Yeah.
that's why the bigger budget for rent, right? Because I could do it for $1,500 a month somewhere, 2-bedroom place, off we go. But I want to stay 8 days in Austin and then 4 days somewhere else. And so
I mean, you could also get an RV.
Right.
sure, yeah.
I'm
that's-
just
No,
like
no,
throwing
you're
it out there.
just
There are
spitballing. No, I
other,
get
there
it,
are
yeah.
other things, right?
Mhm.
Sure, yeah. So that's to answer your
Right.
question, yeah.
The reason I'm asking is because we gotta figure out where, like, what the actual amount is. So if it's $12,000 a month, it's $12,000 a month,
Yeah.
right? If you're sure that's how much you need, then I mean, the answer is the writing's on the wall. Okay, how do you make $12,000 a month doing what you guys are doing now?
I know.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Then you brought up something really interesting where you're like, you don't want to kind of
Leverage the audience.
leverage the audience to make money.
Correct.
Because
If I don't have to. I
But-
know that I might have to. I just want to
Yeah.
not have to if I don't have to.
But what if you're actually adding more entertainment to the audience while still making money?
And-
because in comedy, so for example, for me, right, I'm like telling stories. If there's some story that works with like an app, I've promoted lots of apps, right? At the end of it, I'll just give 5 seconds. Hey, look, I'll kind of segue into it from the story and be like talking about that, 5 seconds, boom. And then that actually can generate a lot of money. That's not what I'm talking about for you guys. For you guys, I'm sure as a comedian, you have so many, you're very creative, but you have a lot of ways you can leverage different products. You know what I'm saying? So if you make it funny enough, me as someone in your audience who watches your stuff, if it's funny, it's funny. You know, if it's good, it's good. What's that girl's name? She has some of the best ads I've ever seen. Blonde girl.
Chris,
yes.
she's the one who has like the most following on
Yeah,
TikTok.
She does like the skits and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Like
she's
Girl with
funny.
the tiny hands.
Tiny hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's funny.
So funny. But her ads
True. Kill.
are like
They're good.
so native to who she is
Totally.
that
That's
you
true.
don't even know it's an ad.
Yeah.
That's
It's got 20 million views. If I ever got
She's
20 million
making
views in an
bank,
ad,
bro.
dude, 100%.
She's making bank.
Because she's really creative, but she's learned how to leverage her style to do that.
True.
I don't see why you guys wouldn't be able to.
So we have some offers like that,
Mm-hmm.
which people come and they're like, listen, like we just want you to be you. And then quite honestly, that we just have a difference of opinion on value. And that's usually where the deal
The
goes
actual
down.
dollar amount?
For sure. Yeah.
Okay, well, you got to stick to what you're comfortable with.
And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the best part, right?
exactly.
Because we're so early.
Yeah.
I know that. That's
Mhm.
something that not most people, if it was just him, he might already have made some of these
Yeah,
mistakes.
probably.
let's say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so for that, I'm like, this is actually a really easy equation, right? And I went to the Gary Vee School of Mindset, and I was like, great, this is all just how humble of a life can I live?
Mhm.
I'm not against making money. I'm just against making money off the attention of the people that I said I want to give you the most value. If I have to take some, I will. And we've taken 3 in the past out of 2,800.
After all this time, only 3 ads?
So I did the math to have this. I have recent numbers I'm saying. So 2,856-ish videos that he's made in like the time that he's been online. Exactly 3 of them have been sponsored posts. So
And it's from the same company.
and so right. And so
I did 2 last week. Like, as long as it's native to what you're doing, I think it's
right.
fine.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying like we were just trying to push it as far as we can to do like I just believe in the value so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe in what we're doing so much that I just don't feel like, especially at this moment or this time, I have to take money from anyone to sell anything, because I'm like, well, this is actually pretty easy. Like my monthly expenses living here is so little. I can take 20 to 25 hours, which is what I take roughly every week, to do social media management, photography. I do some video stuff on the side. Like I'll DJ some gigs here and there. Maybe he'll do a stand-up private show. We'll book some stuff like off the books, et cetera, just to make the ride keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're waiting for some. We're not waiting for a big payday. Like I'm not trying to get rich overnight. I'm just waiting for the right value assessment of somebody. And we're having those conversations at this moment. I can't talk about it because we're not even there yet.
fair.
And it's not that it's secret. We're just not even. There's nothing to tell.
Mm.
But if we could theoretically make this work, we would have somebody fund an entire project around us that's based on the content he's already doing, making it better, and throughout it, natively, exactly like you said, will work in that brand, which in this concept that we've worked out is like flawlessly perfect. Like you'll watch it and actually might even mistake it for content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it really is an ad. So we're super excited about that. And if this goes through, then obviously this conversation has a moot point, because then we will have essentially reached level 1 of our thesis.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't, then I'm okay.
Keep going.
I go back, the ride goes round, man. Next week. I go to the job. I take that to fund the thing instead of, I could get back 100 hours a month in theory, right? And take 30 seconds of the audience's attention once a month for X amount of dollars just to match what I'm doing. But I'm unwilling to even do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say not unwilling, but unwilling at the moment to even do merch as an example. That's an easy thing that we could make money off of. But I just don't want to do it. It's too early. It's too
merch not gonna
unnecessary.
really make money.
Right.
Like merch is specific. But okay, I don't mean to cut you off though.
No,
but-
I could keep talking. So if people don't cut me off, I'll just keep going. But like that's just our thesis, that we just see it as like, I don't know, we're obsessed on this. Like, can we do a legacy play? Like, can we get to the end of this career and be like, as Gary Vee is doing, we're trying to do what he's doing. I'm not even doing what he's saying. He's trying to get to the end of this and say, I want people to erect statues of me. Not because I want them to praise me, but I just want them to say he gave us more than he took. I'm obsessed with this idea. And now that NFTs are coming, we might actually be able to do 100%. 100% back to the value of the community.
Well, I don't completely understand NFTs. Like I understand it as a concept. I don't understand how I could use them or how I could buy a picture of a monkey that goes like $1 million next week. But
yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, like that stuff's confusing to me. But I completely understand kind of what you're saying. I guess it depends on also how fast you want to move to level 1. Is it something urgent that you want to do? Are you comfortable waiting a couple of years? But it also comes down to, you want to make this amount of money.
I know.
Is there some way to do it a bit faster with different offers that you have that could stay native? So I don't want to repeat what what I mentioned before. And I completely understand what you're saying. If you're not getting the value you want, if you want I don't know, let's say you want $5,000 per post and someone's offering you $500, hell no, of course not.
Fuck that.
But I'm sure you're seeing all of that stuff.
Oh yeah,
totally.
Like even I'm seeing that because I just don't care because I'm doing so much other stuff too. So I really respect the fact that you're not giving into that. Because if I was not doing anything else, I was making my money from social media, I would definitely be accepting less money.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you think it's scarce.
Exactly.
You get worried. Once again, it's the same thing.
Exactly.
And as an added,
you can't do that.
And as a cherry on top, now that we are in like offer meetings or term sheets that we're sending back and forth, I have this like, I have this like pristine product. I'm like I explained it to Neema actually. I said, look, like imagine if the digital presence you have was expressed as like a billboard somewhere in downtown Toronto, just in a fantasy scenario. You have an Instagram account, a TikTok account. The bigger your account, the bigger your billboard. Okay, so you have a pretty big billboard. And some of yours there's more ads on them, and some of them are just pure white, and they're just waiting for somebody to go on there, sort of idea. Sure. I'm excited about the fact that when I sell people, I'm like, look, like his name has realistically never been attached to a brand for longer than 30 seconds, and that only happened 3 times in 3,000 videos worth, right? So now I have that gun, that bullet that I wanted to shoot, and I knew that we're gonna have to wait and what's it called, like the gratification, like delay it, like wait, be patient, like sacrifice now, like don't eat the carbs, like earn it for the next day, like that kind of idea. And then when it gets us here, it's very exciting when you're in a meeting. You're like, look, like I'm not gonna be aggressive or overly anything. It's just, man, I understand my value. I understand that I got myself here because of mindset. I could have taken the money, and that doesn't mean now I'm gonna like fuck you on the deal and like crush you. It's just know I know my own value now. And I say that on the back of like, I'm not I'm not sour or bitter for like making my own mistakes in my past life and like carrying them forward and like, all right, now let's fuck the system and fuck the man. Like I don't have that bitterness anymore, especially now. I'm just look, like I love the competition part of like hey, you're trying to get the best deal, like I'm trying to get the best deal, and let's just bring all the things to the middle and let's let the merit decide. When I'm obsessed with I don't care who comes up with the idea or I just want to find what's true. Whatever the truth is, man, if you prove to me that my value is XYZ because of comparable people, and we can have the philosophical decision about his art versus your art, we could never do that. But nonetheless, like, I like that as people who aren't, backed by a corporation, like a Neema Naz, right? Like what you're doing and other people that we've had on the show are doing. I love that they are regaining their power.
100%.
And it's just a mindset switch, right? Because if you just install that software in your brain and tell yourself like, I am valuable inherently just because I try. I do. I started, right? And I feel like if more people had that, like more creators and more people that, I'm not saying every industry there's bad people and they're all trying to fuck all the actors, all the singers. I'm not saying that. It's just that it happens so often that it's hard to have that trust in those institutions anymore. And that's why I'm so against it. I'm like, if I don't have to take money from people and I can do it on my own, it's not just a legacy play. It's also the freedom thing. It's also maybe I'll inspire the next wave of people to say, hey, maybe you don't need to go and work this job to get the car, to do the thing, and then sort of do Instagram and TikTok on the side, yet you're a really talented singer. Maybe we can show by example instead of just speaking it out loud. Like it can be done if you just live a more humble life. Ask that question first. Then, So
also, the thing a lot of people neglect is you're not just paying me for like this one thing. You're paying me for all the years of shit I had to go through to get to this point.
Exactly.
So
100%.
that's a big part of it. It's like You weren't there when I was shooting the gym. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
You won't with me when you're shooting the gym,
straight up.
right?
Like you must feel that, no? Like when you sit and you're doing, whether it's your ads or you're going to do public speaking, like whatever venture you're taking on in your life, do you not? I mean, I might think, well, I lived in a car, like, and I earned my stripes. You know what I mean? Like I'm willing to. You actually went to zero, right? Like for the most part.
Yeah.
Like I'm willing to go there. Like doesn't that give you like some underground like dark energy that really like empowers you like for yourself, you know?
Dude, it's gotten me to the point where in specific things I do feel like I'm unstoppable. I feel like I do have
Nice. Yeah, I love
so much value. Like especially like I spend most of my time on my online marketing company. And that's why I'm very comfortable kind of reaching out to some really big events and saying, look, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. I know I can add value to your people because I know this is who's coming. I've done this, I've done that. I've also spoken to, I've done some submissions for like different speaking events talking about content creation. That's where I can talk about my TikTok stuff, right? So I definitely do have like that kind of feeling where no one can get in my way.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying?
You need that.
Yeah. Yeah. And going through the shit helps me get there because I also know like what you're saying, like living a humble life. Like I'm going to be honest, man, if I lost everything and lived in my car again, I have zero doubt in my mind that very quickly I'll be back to where I am because I know how to do it. I've done it before. I know how to do it. And if I had to be like living in a car, I could do it.
Yeah.
It's as bad as it was doable.
Mm-hmm.
It was livable.
You already know. You've already experienced it,
Exactly.
so you know how to deal with it.
Exactly. And that humble,
perspective.
living that kind of humble life is, I really, really respect that. Because you guys are going to look back like, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when you're doing like really, really big things all around the world, doing your thing, be like, good. I did that. I did it my way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I respect that a lot, man.
Definitely.
That's really
it's gonna
good.
pay off for sure.
100%. If you keep this, like that work ethic
Yeah.
and that drive, man, and this focus,
It's a wrap.
because most people do not.
I know.
So just by your time, you're separating yourself. But the amount of work you're doing every single day and you guys are putting in together, that's like
It's real.
huge.
I appreciate
Huge.
that.
I hope so. And we hope to put Toronto on the back of that success.
Just like Drake did.
That's it.
Just
You did it
like
for
Drake did.
music,
That's
100%.
it. Do it for
I know.
I mean, Russell Peters kind of already did it for Toronto, but
True.
even more.
But he spends a lot of time not in
Actually,
Toronto.
I honestly,
he's never.
I actually forgot that he was from Toronto.
Yeah.
To be completely
I know.
honest with you,
I
it
think
wasn't
yeah.
until you mentioned it.
Yeah,
now.
he
pushes
doesn't really
Brampton
rep
a
it.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't rep Toronto really as
Exactly.
much.
Like
he
Drake
doesn't
reps Toronto.
reps Toronto. Yeah, that's what
Dude,
I feel like I do too. So it's like
He
I'll
named
do it.
the album views, right? I mean, that was a straight up. That was a CN Tower logo.
CN Tower.
Yeah,
Six.
and even
album
like
art.
the 6 and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
True,
no, Drake is definitely. I used to go to Florida back in like years when I was like in university still. This is, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. I tell people from Toronto, they'd be like, oh yeah, Drake.
Wow.
Like,
That was
yeah.
at that time.
Yeah, and that was like
Yeah.
literally 2011,
crazy.
2012.
That's when he was just starting to pop off.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's
Man,
crazy.
that guy is mega.
Wow.
he's the
That's
man.
amazing.
He's the man.
I love that. Well,
What a
boys,
great way to end the show.
Hell yeah,
I was
man.
gonna say, it was
Drake,
great.
the
We just put
GOAT.
in a nice,
Hell yeah.
nice couple-hour flex here for the boys in the Straight and
Yeah,
Curly
how long was that?
podcast. Just 2 hours, 15-ish
shit.
minutes.
Damn.
My
That's
man.
the longest one we've done in a while.
Yeah, that was great.
The longest we've done was 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours.
I was like delusional after that. Even though I was going
That is a
on.
lot.
I don't know where I was. I was sweating buckets.
you guys like super caffeinated by then?
just
Like, no.
I don't even know what was going on.
I don't even know. I
Just
was like,
random.
because like, so we told somebody last episode, like if you look around, like all the windows are covered, like this
Yeah.
one and
Like
the
it's
one
casino.
that people can see on the camera, and so you get this kind of effect where like you don't know what time of day it is anymore.
Uh-huh.
And right now, like what is it, 4 or whatever, but it's pretty
It's
dark
Probably getting
outside.
dark. Yeah, oh yeah, it is getting
It's a
dark.
little
But you
dark.
got here when it was super bright, and like you don't know, right? Like
Exactly.
Get lost in the
Yeah.
sauce.
4 hours.
4.5, yeah.
4.5,
And then we had another one that was 4 and 20 minutes. Yeah, 4 hours.
crazy.
Yeah, a couple 4 hours. Yeah.
inspired
But-
by Joe Rogan. I mean, it's such long episodes, and it's like one of my favorite shows. So
Mm-hmm.
probably got like long form just has
So much more
a place now
Exactly.
in the world. And
Exactly.
I love that.
more
And
context.
you just go
and
off like we were talked about things that
everything. Yeah.
if you have 30 minutes, we don't even touch on.
I know.
Exactly. And I'm sure there's so much other shit we talk about too. But
Do you want to tell people where they can find you, see more of your stuff, or programs?
I am on TikTok and Instagram at Chris Fahmy, CHRIS, Fahmy, FAHMY. And that's it. Also on YouTube, Chris Fahmy, but mainly I'm on Instagram and TikTok.
yeah, and he's on TikTok.
Let
TikTok?
me hit that one more time.
Yeah. TikTok.
So good. So good.
Actually, does sound like him.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for coming down here to do the podcast.
It's my pleasure,
Yeah.
man.
Thank you for sharing your story, man. It's,
Yeah.
I find it very refreshing when people feel so comfortable sharing their life story, particularly
Absolutely.
when they have an opportunity to reflect on it like you have. So
Mm.
thank you for sharing it. And I think what you're doing is great.
Yeah.
Welcome back anytime.
Thank
It's
you.
a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. It was. I had a great time. One thing I will tell you guys, where I skydive is pretty close to here. So next time I
Yeah,
go, I'm letting you
yeah.
guys know. They're not open until April, so you guys got time to like chill.
prepare
Okay.
and
Yeah, you got time
shit
to
my
mentally
pants
exactly.
more.
But next
Write
time
my
I'm
will
going,
and shit. Yeah.
exactly. That's actually one thing I haven't done, which I have to do.
What?
You have to
Haven't
write a
written my will.
Oh,
As soon as I
shit.
jumped, I text my lawyer. I was like, look, I need to do my will. now.
It's too late for
My
that.
boy Mina, so he's got to get on that. But yeah, so next
Yeah,
time
yeah.
I'm going,
I
I'll
love
let
that.
you guys know.
I'm
I love
fucking
that.
You guys
about
jump
that
in
shit.
too.
Let's get
No
it.
way, man.
That's it.
Yo, is what's the sweater I was gonna ask? Chronic Ink.
Hennessy and Chronic Ink. So one of my friends, he like does tattoo artistry for Chronic Ink, and
yeah,
they did like
Teddy was here yesterday. He was talking about that. Chronic Ink. Do you know Teddy Tongue? Titles?
no,
Oh, okay.
no, I don't
All
know.
right, let's
Anyway,
see.
what were you saying?
I'm just zooming in on the logo. Let me see it.
Oh,
Yeah, there it is.
Hennessy.
Yeah, I love the red sweater, just a comfy sweater. They're selling like this Hennessy, this like special edition Hennessy. So I got the Hennessy, but it also came with this sweater. I was like, I like the sweater.
That's
It's
sick.
sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
That's crazy because our
Yeah,
friend
literally,
Teddy
yeah.
was here and he was like an ambassador for Chronic Ink for
No
a few
way.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's like
Literally.
all tatted up.
He
Yeah,
is,
yeah. He showed his sleeve on the camera. Just
Yeah, he did,
Literally
yeah.
sitting where you were 2 days ago.
The last episode,
Sick.
yeah.
Sick. I'm a
song.
blank canvas. I have nothing.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Because I'm
neither.
too indecisive. I don't know what to pick.
I know, right?
I
Yeah,
know. I
me
have that
neither.
same problem. I have
Yeah.
like 80 ideas and I can't start.
Yeah. So I'm like,
I don't
probably
know.
won't like it in a year. So I'm not gonna do it until
Yeah.
I'm 100%. When I get married with kids, I'll
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
do
Maybe,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably get a tramp stamp on my ass.
You
And
get
that's
your
your
tattoo
show.
right here, bro.
That's
That's it.
Imagine.
A scroll. Just
Yeah,
a
a
scroll. All right. Well,
Awesome.
thanks for everyone who's watching this and listening
Oh, yes.
to the potty. We're in fucking buttfuck up north with the fucking cows and shit, pal. And we're gonna be hacking darts after this. So, thank you guys so much. You know where to find us. Obviously, interact with us. We love it, and we appreciate you all. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And shout out to Chris Fahmy. Allahu Akbar, Bismillah.
Allah.
And
Shukran Allah.
we'll see you guys later. Thank you so much. Peace.
Hi, everybody.
Later.